I reused the sign today because the stream we had yesterday was, I think I got like 1 or 2 calls, but both of them were like burnout quickly type calls where they just, just. I think so many people don't realize that it's difficult to package these calls in a way that's worth watching. When a call makes it to YouTube, it's the same thing. Like even, Dean Withers' show is polished enough that he gets to do the whole stream VOD where like you can just go listen to it as a 4-hour podcast, and it's decent listening. It's not, doesn't have too much dead air or anything, but it is a small percentage of the conversations that are worth posting as their own little 20, 30, 40 minute sub podcast of like, here's a conversation I had with somebody. Because, this is just a skill for me to get better at as a host, but the pivoting is just so crazy. So often when I listen to the calls that I've had where it's a good call, it's a caller who's like making good content, making bad arguments, at least listening to me even. So often I don't realize in the moment that I'm falling for the pivot where they'll say, well, what about this? And then I like so know the answer to what they've brought up that my first reaction is to go, oh, it's this. I know the answer to that. And I know, and I listen back to it and I realize that those are instances where they have successfully guided me away from the topic I was totally cooking them on. Anyway, I'm just going to keep yapping until we get some people in here. For those of you who don't know, I rescued a Turning Point USA correspondent from violence this weekend. I also was agnostic to my position on who's totally at fault or whatever yesterday when I streamed, and I'm not anymore. I've done my review of everything that happened, and I think that the Minnesota angry man and his daughter and his wife are sadly in the wrong. So she what's her name? So Savanah Hernandez got what she was looking for. She got somebody to do something bad because she showed up to a protest and did her thing. And I as far as alt-right instigators go, she's not the worst. I don't really know much about Savanah Hernandez, but I can judge her behavior from the day, which is when I reviewed my footage yesterday and looked thoroughly at the 20 or 30 minutes of footage before the fight that I had, I just saw that nah, she really did just set the fly trap. She wasn't getting in people's faces. She was arguing in terrible faith. She was saying awful things. This is a Turning Point USA correspondent. But, she wasn't invading anybody's personal space. She just wasn't breaking any of the rules. And the Minnesota angry family broke some rules. So that's very sad. Very shitty that they did that. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping to get somebody to talk about that. It's been an interesting 48 hours. It's always an interesting 48 hours when Twitter becomes aware of you. I've had people in my real life reach out to me, say, oh my God, Oscar's a secret Nazi. Here he is protecting this girl. And I'm just like, yo, I was getting her out of there. What are you talking about? There's a clip of me asking the police if she's being detained. So everybody's like, oh, he's working with her. He's on her team. And I was literally just like, lady, you're not being detained. You should leave. We all, go file your police report. That's fine. But there's a chaotic scene. Maybe keep walking. Anyway, or maybe we won't talk about today. Maybe it will just be a normal debate stream. Noodle, what are you doing? My dog is under my desk making a ruckus. Noodle, get out from under there. Go somewhere else. You can hang out under there when you're being chill, but you're not being chill. So you go sit on the chair. Good girl. My dog scored better. On what, Glenn? What are we talking about? I saw that message earlier and I didn't understand the context then and I don't now. Anyway, so far, other than the 2 days that I have was banned for saying some no words by mistake, I have succeeded in streaming every day in April so far. So that's exciting for me. I'm happy about that. That's going well. And I mean that's thanks to the people that I usually don't have to sit here and yap all too long before I get a caller in. So I'll remind everybody watching, this is a call-in show. If you disagree with me, if you think that Trump's a good president, you should let me know. This sign I wanted to discuss with some people, but I might change the sign during the stream because it's not the most eye-catching stream for somebody scrolling through. This isn't going to stop somebody necessarily who is a Trump supporter to come and talk because they don't necessarily know what I'm talking about with the sign. But that's kind of the attitude I had in my mouth. The attitude I had, the flavor I was left with in my mouth after this debacle on Saturday with Savanah Hernandez and the Minnesota angry family is just that I guess the button I have to put on the whole conversation about the fact that I think that violence-wise she was in the right and the protesters were in the wrong is like, also fuck her. Like, also I can't be too direct about what I say about people like this. This is like the I can say all these horrible things about the stuff that the Trump does and all that, but when I actually just talk about disliking a person, it's hard to do that on TikTok Live because I don't want to get a flag for harassment and bullying. But she's a deplorable human being. She's an awful human being. And I'm like not saddened by the fact that she got caught on it because she went there looking for it. And I'd argue that if you went to a bar looking for a fight, you could find one, right? Like she was, it's like going to a bar and brushing shoulders with every single person until one of them punches you in the face. It's like if the guy punches you in the face, that's an assault. Like there's no way around it. He did something that's wrong. There's no way around that whatsoever. He did wrong. Like you got him. But still, it is also like I'm not going to feel bad for you if that's like specifically what you're doing. Like really like actually intentionally seeking out that sort of outcome. And it's not the same sort of victim blaming as when somebody talks about like a girl wearing clothes that got her assaulted. It'd be like if your intention was to wear clothes that will get you assaulted, go to parties where people are known to be assaulted and stay there around people who you think might assault you until one of them assaults you. That would be a better comparison. Say It Louder 420 says you helped her and she was so ungrateful. Yeah, I was mixed about putting my snappy like, hey, thank me, bitch, at the end of my video on Instagram. But mostly I just wanted to shake her hand and get her to know my name, which is controversial. But I'm a political debate person, right? Like I should shake her hand and get to know her. I will deal with the Nazis, right? Like that's the whole. Isn't that the whole idea of what I'm doing? I'd love to have a conversation with her. Not gonna get one. She's if something bad happens to somebody, generally they thank the public who helped. But I don't think she's gonna put any public attention on the fact that most of the people who were there who helped her. Do I plan on streaming on the 20th? What's happening on the 20th, other than it being the 20th of April? Maybe I won't be qualified to stream on the 20th. I am planning on streaming on the 20th because I'm trying to stream every day this month. That's the goal. Linktree in the bio if you want that to feel like less an irresponsible thing for me to be doing with my time. Say It Louder 420 says that you think I handled it great. I'm glad you do. Plenty of people don't. Oh, Devin, where'd you go? I was about to invite you up. We had a caller. He left. He ran away. He probably got impatient. I didn't click his name for 10 whole seconds, and that's that. If you guys have new sign ideas, I think this one's maybe not good for the stream. You guys can let me know some sign ideas in the chat, and maybe I'll draw a new one while we're hanging out here waiting for the stream to take off. I wasn't a pushover, but you weren't overly emotional. Yeah, I mean, like I get emotional, definitely. Like sometimes when I get worked up on here, people are like, "Whoa, buddy, calm down," and I'm like, no, like I'm not upset and being loud because I'm ill-tempered. I'm being upset and loud because the president is a rapist. Like that. Sometimes the crash out is warranted. So like, yeah, I was yelling at Savanah. I did not very much. I have more content coming out about it. I was like up late last night video editing. I'm putting together something more comprehensive about exactly what my interaction with that day was. So like, yeah, I can be outspoken against her, but I do just think that like, I even watched the footage again last night where she thanked me, and like the moment before that was almost something that I should have included because I really cut it for time to get as much of the fight sequence as possible in the Instagram video. But right before I say, hey, you could at least thank me for like pulling those people off of you, what happened right before that, and I should have included these like extra 4 seconds right before that, is I went up to her and I was like, hey lady, do you want the ride or not? And she was like, nope, and like turned and walked away. And that's when she was walking away, where I was like, yo, like that's it, like you don't have manners. like anyway, and then I said my name in a really smarmy, loud and clear way because yeah, she's a Turning Point USA correspondent. I actually want her to know my name. I'm doing this thing where I'm upset about all this in a very public way, and the more publicity I can get around me being upset about it, that's good for the cause, because I have this thing where I'm good at talking about it, which I suppose is douchey for me to say about myself, but I don't know. I wouldn't be succeeding at live streaming if I wasn't good at yapping about this stuff. And she came there looking for debates, but she wasn't, it's like so many debates that I have on here. They just aren't good faith debates. Hey, we're upset about this. oh, okay, that sounds made up. No, it's not made up. Here's the evidence. And then she physically turns and starts talking to somebody else. And it's just like, you can just see on her face that she's like, nope, I'm not going to get a good clip from this person. On to the next. Just like total clip farming, which I don't do on here. You know, like if I have a call that I think is productive for the purpose of the live, or like, you know, like if I like the calls where maybe the person actually can be reached aren't always the most entertaining, aren't always the good for the live, but I'll always take those calls even if they're an hour and a half long. I'm not like sitting here Rolodexing through like difficult callers to farm Instagram clips. I ban the people who can't participate in a good conversation so that they don't clog up my live and like make this show harder to do. It'd be good for the Instagram clips, but it's bad for this being good long form content. The clips that do well on Instagram don't come from the calls that do best on YouTube as long form listening content, because those most crazy guests are people who just aren't fun to listen to for a half hour. And she was kind of doing that thing where it's just like, this isn't a linear conversation. Typical left-wing censorship. Jacob, if you want to talk about that, you're going to have to uncensor yourself because I have this rule on my live where I mute dissidents if I don't have a caller, and I don't have a caller. So if you want to discuss that further, you're going to have to uncensor yourself by hitting the request button and coming and talking about it in front of the rest of the class like a big boy. Anyway, thank you for the heart me, Taylor. Appreciate you. Hello, Taylor. Who else is there? I love it. He mutes and blocks. I don't mute very much. I really don't. I really, like, a lot of debate streamers really abuse the mute button. I always announce when I push it. There's one thing I wish that the mute button on here had like a little chime, just like a subtle little blip of noise that lets you know it's been clicked. Because sometimes when I listen to debates, I can hear like, oh, yeah, the person's being muted. But it's not always clear that that's happening, and the host can do that in a way to control, in a way that I think is kind of a little bit disingenuous sometimes. But I also, like, for my own shtick, I really avoid the mute button. I just prefer to yap over people. I'm good at yapping over people. My voice, when I get into that big, fast, whiny thing that I do when I'm really cooking, it penetrates through. And then it shows people, like, how difficult it is to have a conversation with these people. Maybe it's hard to listen to for a long time, but it's a better demonstration of how, in what poor faith they're arguing. All right, we got somebody in the queue. DEA_Kimmy Cub 27. Please don't violate the TikTok terms of service. Please be a Trump supporter and be over the age of 18. How old are you?
28.
I believe you support Trump.
No, I support Harris. I was coming up here to kind of get a vibe of your board back there that says it's going to get worse.
I'm gonna boot you just because the live doesn't do well when I have friendlies up. So I appreciate you, but I will answer your question after I boot you, which is that I do think it's gonna get worse. And when I say it, I kind of just mean all of it. Like Metro Surge was really bad in Minneapolis, and I think that it was a PR blunder for Trump's administration. But I don't think that they're done terrorizing people. I don't think that they're done with civil rights abuses. I think they're just trying to find a more politically tenable way to do it. And I wrote the sign after what happened on Saturday, which was that there was a nasty fight at a protest I attended where the protesters who I was protesting were in the wrong. And that's like really upsetting. I literally had to rescue a Turning Point USA correspondent from angry protesters, and she did everything she could to make that happen to herself, but she didn't break the law trying to achieve that, and the people who attacked her did. So she got the W in that sense, because that's what she was looking for. And what I'm saying is that all these sorts of things are just going to get worse unless we start following the Constitution. When people talk about political violence, this is the conversation that happened around Charlie Kirk. This is the conversation that happened around my brush with Cam Higbee, which was before I was a content creator. So like he got to push the narrative on that one. But like every time there's like one of these like scrapes where like somebody gets assassinated or there's a fight somewhere or some violence or like as far as like the way that individuals are reacting to all this, if the constitution of a country isn't being followed, there's a pretty expected pattern of rising violence that happens leading up to the Civil War or the coup or whatever happens that is the conclusion of the Constitution no longer being followed. Because a country with a constitution that isn't being followed just isn't a very stable set of circumstances. Hello, Elvis. Good to see you as always. So while I'm really upset about what happened on Saturday, it's just gonna get worse, right? Like the Constitution needs to be followed, and there comes a point somewhere between, okay, the president's not following the Constitution and then like a civil war happening. Somewhere along the way, things become justified. And like, we're not in that terrible place yet, but I just every time one of these little debacles happen, I'm just like, guys, it's gonna keep getting worse. The more nuanced thing to say is that I do think maybe this will be the lesson that America has to learn in the 21st century that the rest of the world learned in the 20th century, which is that being a Nazi is violent. I will stand on that, which if we're going to go by that, then like the law doesn't work that way. So I have to say that Savanah Hernandez was in the right because she was. But like, if you support people who are doing violence, like at what point does that become violence? At what point are you an accomplice to violence? If you donate money to somebody who's committing violence so that you can support the violence they're committing, is that violent? Are we allowed to say that you're the problem? Like that's the disconnect in free speech in America, is that as long as you don't touch anybody, you can materially support people who are violating people's constitutional rights, and that's somehow okay. So like that's the fucking predicament we're in. And it's bad. Like, yeah, so High Life says follow the Constitution, obey our laws, protect our citizens, closed. And it's like, yeah, it would be that simple if we had any control over whether or not the government is following the Constitution. We don't, and they're not. So I don't really know what to do with that. Say It Louder has been, I've been sitting here saying, yes, we have to hold everybody accountable. Yeah, I don't know how to talk about this in a way that's like publicly tenable, but like, no, it shouldn't be okay to materially support people who are doing horrible things. In the same way that like, if somebody like murdered a family member of yours and they were on the run and somebody paid for that person to have a hotel room in their name so that they could keep hiding on the run, it's like, you're materially supporting, like, this is accomplice behavior. You get charged for this sort of thing. And there comes a point where if you spread, like, libel's illegal, but why are you allowed to use libel to support fascistic rights violations? Why are you allowed to lie to the public on TV about what illegal immigrants are doing in such a way that results in their rights being violated because people elect politicians that are going to violate their rights or violate the rights of citizens in pursuit of the illegal immigrants? Like, why is that okay? Because you can't just say that words are okay and violence isn't, because Hitler wasn't a violent person by that. That's a bad argument, right? Like Hitler didn't pull the trigger. He did in World War II, or in World War I. He served in World War I, but like, he sat behind a desk during World War II. He sat behind a lectern. Like, he only used his words. So yeah. Hello, Mama Avery. Good to see you. Hello, Midwest Progressive. You're driving, so I appreciate that. I won't be depending on you for the moderation, but I've got Mama Avery here, so I know I'm in good hands. All right. Do we have any dissonance? Does somebody want to talk? I got to start muting people. All right. Or COVID lockdown. Close the borders. Like them BLM riots. All right, Gerald, seems like you've got some stuff to talk about. If you want to talk about it, you're going to have to hit the request button and talk to me with your voice. I've muted you for the live just to encourage you to talk to me with your voice. You're not banned. You can come comment any other time, but I don't have a caller right now, and that's the way that I encourage people to call in, as I see them disagreeing with me in the chat. Gerald, I'm going to say the same thing. Jared, I already said that to Gerald. Who's the other one? Where did the other? High Life. I'm going to say that to High Life as well, who wants us to close the borders and was saying follow the Constitution, obey our laws, protect our citizens, close. If only it were that simple, but it seems to me like you probably believe that you're a member of the party of law and order when you are clearly not, because you elected a president who does not follow the Constitution at all. 10 constitutional rights, that's all they gotta follow. It's a little more complicated than that, but in general, yeah, we just, like, human rights aren't that complicated. It's, there's like a number of things you gotta do. Jason Miller says Miller time. I don't know what that means. What laws has Trump broken? You just asked me which laws a 34 count convicted felon has broken. Like, Cam, like, I'm gonna mute you and insist that you come talk to me, because I'm sure it would be an interesting conversation. So you are muted. Please come tell me that you think that Trump isn't a criminal. We'll talk about it. Anyway, The muting thing works. It's like a bummer early in the call when I have to like mute a bunch of people who I wish could then like talk for more of the live. I guess I could unmute people. I wish it gave me a mute option longer than 5 minutes. If I could mute people for like 20 minutes, that's about the length of the average call. That'd be good. Because really, I'm not trying to censor people. I'm actually trying to platform you. It's the whole thing I do is I platform people that I disagree with. So if you want to come up here and talk, that's the whole point of the show. Cam. Oh, it worked. We actually got one to hop in. I'll remind Cam not to violate the terms of service, to be a Trump supporter, and to just start by telling me how old he is. How old are you, Cam?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. How old are you?
I am 32.
32. I believe you. Cammy 9673. What do you want to discuss? And if you could turn,
really.
so sorry, just to interrupt. There is some background noise. Could you get rid of the background noise? It's very bad for the live.
Yeah, hold on one sec. Is that better?
Yeah, that's way better. What do you want to discuss?
All right. I was just curious. You were talking about the Constitution and Trump breaking laws.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, has he broken any constitutional laws? And if he has, why hasn't he been charged or prosecuted for it?
Okay, I can answer that. Well, so when you say constitutional laws, the Constitution is itself the foundation of our legal system. So we write laws that obey the Constitution. The Constitution is is more important than the laws. So it's not really the right way to ask it. Did he break any constitutional laws? The question is, has he violated the Constitution? I can give you just a recent example because there are many. There are literally dozens of examples, but I'll give you a recent one, which is that last week he signed an executive order that banned mail-in voting. Now, the Constitution specifically says that the president cannot change how elections are operated because that'd be a conflict of interest. You don't want the seat of the executive branch, the president, determining how the elections that determine whether he stays in power are run, but he did that. Now, knowing there's no legal mechanism for this to be enforced, he actually threatened states saying that he will withhold federal funding if they don't obey this obviously unconstitutional executive order. So there's just one example of him overreaching his power. The legislative branch, Congress, is supposed to change how elections are run, not the president. So why hasn't he been charged? It's because he's installed enough Republicans who are loyal to Trump instead of the Constitution are in our Congress. That's a big fucking problem for any democracy. When you have people in your legislative branch who are not going to honor the rules of that democracy, but instead a particular person who's been elected to the executive branch of it, that's real bad. That's the situation we're in. That's why I'm upset. That's why I think it's going to get worse, because nothing's being done about any of this. But Trump is doing a bunch of illegal shit, and he's not being impeached for it, and that's really bad.
All right. Appreciate it. And I had one other question, but...
Well, I mean, you say you're a Trump supporter. I want to know how you feel about everything I just said.
I didn't vote, so...
Okay, you should have. Voting is important. Even if it was for Trump, I'd still prefer you vote. Voter turnout's good. But what I'm saying is that, like... I guess I'll put it this way. If you're a non-voting American, I expect there to be a little bit of apathy. What I'll say is that your life probably has a bunch of ways in which you don't even realize how easy it is, and it's because democracy has mostly been working in America for 250 years. And I think you take for granted the fact that the Constitution protects the life that you live. So for the Constitution to be in danger, and now to be, instead of this rock-solid document that we've been getting better at following and amending and doing precedent on for hundreds of years, we have a senile old man who Tuesday of last week threatened to liquidate the entire country of Iran to get what he wants, which is a war crime, by the way. And that should really concern you. You should I hate to fearmonger, but you should literally feel fear about that. That's really bad. You are in danger.
I mean, I don't really feel fear for that because he... One, hasn't done it, and I don't believe he would actually nuke Iran or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know the mechanism by which he was going to use his words, cause an entire civilization to die. And that's an answer I get a lot from people who aren't super concerned about what he's doing. Oh, he didn't do that. But if we look at like a dozen of the unconstitutional or illegal or war crime type behaviors that Trump threatens to do, he does occasionally do a few of them in ways that are dramatically bad for the world, including people like yourself. So that's not really an answer to my concern. It's like, yeah, he will list a bunch of terrible, horrible, awful things he's going to do, and then do some of them. And that's really, really bad. The fact that we didn't know if he was being serious, because he is sometimes serious about these absolutely insane things that he does, that should be concerning to you. What is your answer to that?
I don't really have one.
Well, not to pile on, I would like to point out that just because he didn't follow through and liquidate Iran doesn't mean that what he did wasn't bad, because in America we have a very particular word that we use for this behavior. When you threaten to commit some sort of mass casualty war crime type offense in order to get what you want, in America we call that terrorism, because you're trying to terrorize people with a threat of violence of public violence into conceding to your interests. In our case, it's our interests as a nation. So to the letter of the law, and by the way that the words are defined, Trump is committing war crimes and being a terrorist by doing these sorts of things, even if he doesn't pull the trigger, even if he doesn't do it. You wouldn't want somebody threatening to bomb your house to get what they want from you, or even worse, from somebody other than you, because mind you, it's not the innocent Iranians who make decisions about the Strait of Hormuz. It's a small number of people who work at the government, and he's threatening the lives of these innocent people in order to get what he wants from the government. That is terroristic, Hitler type war crime, horrible behavior. You should be terrified that you live in a country that's being run by such a person whose power isn't being checked in the ways that I described earlier.
Gotcha. Well, I don't know why Democrats are always pushing for people to feel fear over stuff, but I usually don't. I just go with the flow.
I think that the left is sometimes guilty of making things a bigger problem than they are. But what I'm saying, and the reason that I'm motivated to sit on here and do these lives, is because I unfortunately think that we are in a situation where that fear is reasonable. I think what's happening is seriously concerning. Nothing like this has ever happened in American history. We've never been at greater risk of collapsing as a country. World War II wasn't a bigger threat to America as a stronghold. World War II was really, really, really bad, but we actually did a pretty good job of keeping it overseas. We kept the nation safe, and our government continued to function perfectly well the entire time. We even, as a society, collectively decided to ignore the rule, which was just a off the books, gentleman's agreement to not run more than twice as president. We elected the same president 4 times, and he didn't survive the 4th term, because we all agreed that overturning power during that time would be bad because of the war. And then right after the war, that's when what is it, the 28th, 26th Amendment that says the president can only be president twice? There's a constitutional amendment that Trump is trying to overthrow. He's talking about running in 2028. He's selling 2028 merch. This is un-American dictatorial behavior. I think because you probably lack the education about some of this stuff to really feel all that strongly about it. Can I just ask more generally, do you consider yourself a patriot? Do you believe in America?
Yeah, I love America. I love my country.
Okay. Then you got it, dude. Then you should be really upset. You should be really, really concerned. It sounds to me like you don't understand your civics, and maybe if you did, you'd really see what's going on. Can I ask you, I've actually discussed them a little bit in the call, so maybe this is cheating for you already. Do you know what the 3 branches of government are? Legislative,
judicial, and I forgot the last one.
Yeah, executive. So it sounds like you had the list memorized at some point. I don't suppose you know what those 3 branches do. Because I always say I'm not going to fault people for not knowing what the 3 words are. But if you know what the 3 of them do, that's a kind of really what I'm getting at. Do you know what they do?
Not really, but one, I'm not really into politics and all this stuff. I was just started paying attention to it in the last year.
Okay. I'm not going to fault you for your ignorance, but I will say that you've called into a debate live, and one thing I say to a lot of my callers is that if you don't understand your basic civics, then you're not in a very good position to decide, to assess whether the country is being run well. So what I would urge you to do, and I really mean this, just dude to dude talking on the internet, forget about the audience for a second, because it sounds to me I'm not going to dunk on you. I'm not going to I could talk circles about American government to you because you don't understand how it works, and that's not a good use of the call. So what I would really urge you to do is go learn your civics. You should go learn about the 3 executive branches. You should learn about the separation of powers. That's really important. You should learn about the work that the Supreme Court has done over the last 250 years to establish exactly what every word of the Constitution means and the ways that it's supposed to be applied. Because there's legal decisions along the way that I don't agree with. I don't like that Roe v. Wade was overturned, the abortion thing, for example. But it wasn't a violation of the way the country is supposed to be operated for Roe v. Wade to be overturned. I just wasn't happy with the decision. But there's a lot of things that Trump is doing. There's a lot of stuff that him and his administration are doing, because it's not just him, that are just flatly illegal, against the rules, not the way that an American president is supposed to run their administration in a way that we specifically made against the rules, because it will prevent us from falling into tyranny. It will stop our leadership from becoming a dictator. And if you look at history, when presidents stop following their constitutions, they become dictators. Countries like that fall into civil war. They have military coups, and suddenly people don't get to decide what their leadership is anymore. It leads to really, really, really bad stuff. And I think that it's not super useful for me to try to tell you that Trump is bad. I think what you got to understand, you got to learn a little bit about how the government works, and then you need to recognize that any president who's not following those rules should be disqualified. And then we can talk about their policy after that. We can talk about their character after that. There's a lot of things, a lot of policy and character. I could talk for days about why Trump is bad, but first, the most important thing is that they obey the Constitution, and he just simply isn't doing that.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna hop down though.
I'm gonna tell you, I would so love to hear from you in a few weeks or a month. If you go read some Wikipedia articles about civics in the U.S. Go watch some Schoolhouse Rock videos. Whatever you got to do. Go study a little bit. If you're getting involved and you're caring about this and you're taking the time to call in and talk to me, and you said you just got involved in the last year, you have some motivation. I just want to give you some direction. I would love to hear from you sometime in the not too distant future. Not tomorrow. Civics is too complicated. Spend some time on it. I'd love to hear from you in a month.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I will definitely start researching my civics and everything.
Civics, yeah. Civics is the important thing for you to study if you're just getting started. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, Husband Cop 89 is my biggest fan, everybody, in the chat. He loves me so much. Yeah, Wikipedia is a great place to get started for general information about how things work. I defend that point all the time. Way better than ChatGPT. Should we talk to the Husband Cop 89? It's been a while. It'll probably be good for the views. Husband Cop 89, I'll have you up. I might get the timer out if you're not able to have a conversation. I might get the 1 minute timer out so we can take turns talking for 1 minute. But yeah, Darwin is saying free thinkers are censored. Does he mean on Wikipedia? I would say that, yeah, on an encyclopedia, free thinking should be censored. In an encyclopedia, you only put the information that that is uncontroversially true, which is why you don't actually find Wikipedia articles that lay out drama or rumors or anything like that. Even controversial matters like the elections of Trump or something, it just says very candidly who said so-and-so provided this as evidence, so-and-so didn't believe that was good evidence. It's just, they state the facts of the matter. They're pretty good. Husband Cop 89 is proud of how many, we got 183. Yeah, I mean, dude, you're a clown. The audience is laughing at you, the Husband Cop 89. People always talk about the views on here. They don't really matter. I mean, they matter for the performance of the channel, but it's not really the audience here. I mean, I'm very, as a person who wants my political opinions to be in more people's minds, I'm so proud of the fact that my Instagram account has reached 1.5 million accounts. That's insane. That's crazy. A lot of those videos are just quick little clips where I don't even really get to say my piece, but how insane that I have such reach. It's, live, anyone that uses Wikipedia as a source is just funny. Well, Wikipedia is a good resource for gathering general knowledge about something. It's not a good source at all, but because the sources that Wikipedia uses are so well cited, if you want the source for anything that you learn in Wikipedia, you literally just have to go to where it says the thing that you learned, and there's a little blue hyperlink in the corner, a little hyperscript thing that you click, and then it shows you the proper source. So, I mean, again, this is the opinion that you shouldn't use Wikipedia for looking stuff up is 15 or 20 years outdated. It's gotten better. But here, I'll do the thing. I'll say that Husband Cop 89, you always want to talk. And funny, today I'm in the mood for your bullshit, and and you don't want to talk, so I'm just going to mute you and say that if you want to have a brief conversation with me, or you could actually have a long conversation with me if you are able to track a linear conversation and argue in good faith. But the reason the husband cop 89 hangs out in my lives is because all the other live debaters have banned him for the sorts of practices I was describing. So it's just what happens. Taylor says, verify sources with other sources. Everything is worth analyzing. Yeah, it was just like the burden thing. It's like Occam's razor. It's like if it's a really absurd claim, you should maybe check a few sources. If it's like maybe reasonably trivial. Sometimes when the callers give me numbers that I think might be wrong, I will say I'm not even going to fact check that because it doesn't affect my argument. I had somebody say that the top 1% pays 50% of federal taxes, which sounds like it could be wrong. But I just said it doesn't matter because it's still not enough, because it won't hurt them significantly to pay more, because the amount of federal taxes that they pay isn't like the measure of how much they suffer for paying taxes. Like, it's just not how we measure that. Everything in in the U.S. is being censored by this administration. Yeah. It's a small group of media conglomerates that control everything, including TikTok, and Trump, and they all favor Trump. There's money on the line. Like, TikTok isn't going to not have people like me on because we make money for the platform. But in terms of getting like particularly controversial things out, or like deplatforming particular individuals, like the bias is strongly in favor of Trump, which is very concerning. Diversify your media sources by looking at media from other countries. Yeah, Mama Avery says that. That's you're talking to Darwin. Yeah. I like watching foreign news on American politics because, like, the Brits don't care who wins; they just don't want to fight a war. So when BBC reports on American politics, they got some skin in the game, and it's not the skin that we have in the game where we're like they're not trying to win American politics. They're just trying to not go to war. So they tend to report pretty honestly on what's going on. Thanks for the follows, everybody. I appreciate that. Got a little bit of a viewership today, but no snappy callers yet. Had one that was a nice call, like that. I didn't feel the need to go any longer with that call. It just like when the person doesn't know anything, it's like I'm not going to be mean to them. That's one thing that really bothers me is debate live streamers will get a guy like that and think, oh my God, what a clown! I am going to make him look so stupid. I'm gonna set up all these arguments and then get a strike each time and just like completely bing bang boom knock it out. It's like, yeah, I could have made that guy look really silly. I could have talked to him in a lot of corners, but he was honest. He just said he's been getting into politics and he doesn't know. Like, he said he's not a Trump voter, but then he said he got into politics in the last year, and the election was more than a year ago. He said he's not a Trump voter because he didn't vote, which I'm upset about. Everybody should vote. But, like, if he's gotten into politics more recently than that, I'm not going to shade him for not voting. I'm not, it's just, I just hope he does go learn his civics. I just hope he actually does go research that. And, like, Wikipedia is a perfectly good place to start if you want to know how the U.S. government works. Oh, man. My cat just turned my sink on. I'm going to step out of frame for like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Did I lose all my viewers? I lost 3 of my viewers. The gotcha culture is so bad for our political discourse in the U.S., Taylor says. Yeah, and I have to walk the line, right? I got to be like Johnny Cash because I need to be entertaining or this doesn't work. So it just doesn't, like thank you for the heart me. Who sent a heart me? Oh, I'm losing track of the gifts. Darwin. Oh, same viewership from yesterday. Got new friends. Lovely. The most entertaining calls are not the most productive ones, but it's the most entertaining calls that get hundreds of thousands of views on Instagram, and that gets a lot of people to come over here. And a lot of those people who come over to my channel from Instagram aren't even like aware of the debate scene, so that's kind of like fresh meat. So it's helping the machine go. The husband cop 89 has joined the queue. Fair warning, everybody. This guy's difficult. I'm just gonna like let him direct the conversation. Because we don't even really have a topic right now. I know he's of age. I know he's a Trump supporter. I know he might not obey the TikTok terms of service. He's not great on that. What's up, dude? What are we talking about today?
I was just gonna see if you have a PO box that I can send you a Trump 2028 hat or shirt.
No, I don't like, even if I had a public facing PO box, I don't think I'd give it to you, first of all. But I also just like, as much as that'd be a funny prop to own, like I just really don't like that that the money spent on it goes to whoever's selling that shit, whether it's Trump himself or some other shiller. Like, do you think that Trump should run in 2028?
Well, he can't.
I agree.
We have common sense, so he can't.
Well, common sense would suggest that the president should follow the Constitution. So I would say that.
Lord, here's this Constitution again.
Yeah, I do talk a lot about the Constitution on my live, and it would be under normal circumstances, it would be reasonable to think that you would make sure that the president only does constitutional things. So I'm glad that you think he shouldn't run. Why are you memeing about it with Trump 2028 hats?
Because people like you complain and it sells.
Right, but why is that good? Like, why are we joking about a president? Like, the president, is teasing that he'll violate the Constitution. Like, why is that good? Why is that worth buying merch about? Like, donate your money to a charity, dude. Like, you can go feed some hungry kids with that $20.
So you don't post pictures of letting innocent women get attacked by your rioters? Did you post that video?
Sorry, what was you're talking about?
Did you post a video of a Team USA getting attacked by your people?
I wouldn't call those people my people. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll just give you the W on this. It's bad what happened on Saturday. I did. Yeah, I posted a video of some protesters. It's coverage of a thing that happened in public.
For money and profit.
Yeah.
And fame.
Yeah. Okay. So now so you're going to accuse me of being a grifter? Is that the topic?
No, I'm just saying, did you not post it so you could get fame and profit? Yes or no?
I'm not doing this for fame and profit.
Then why do you brag about your clips?
I'm really excited about the reach that I have. I started doing this because I'm really upset about everything that's happening.
Your fame, correct?
Well, so like fame,
yes,
but no, the fame might be a means to the end, but it's not the end I'm excited about. I don't care about fame. I don't care about notoriety.
And why do you post it?
So that so more people believe the things that I do about what's going on in the country. I care about my beliefs.
So you can become fame. No, because you brag about your viewers.
If I could scrub my own name and image from the internet, but get people to follow the Constitution, I'd make that sacrifice. This isn't about me. I'm an entertainer.
Do you cash the check from Instagram and TikTok when they send it to you?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you cash the checks for profit when they send them to you? Instagram and TikTok?
I haven't made any money on Instagram. I do make a very small amount of money on TikTok, and it helps me justify spending more time on this.
Oh, then why won't you donate it to charity and all that?
Because I think a better use of that money is to subsidize my cost of.
So you want me to donate my money?
You're doing okay, dude. I'm actually trying to let you guide the conversation. Can I answer with more than 2 words? Like, this is like, it's not good listening content. Can we try here at the Husband Cop 89? Can I answer the questions with a full sentence? Okay. So my justification, what I'm saying is that, like, when I make $50 or whatever on TikTok live, I'm not rolling in it in like Dean Withers. It's not like I make like more money than I need doing this. I make like $2 an hour sitting here doing these lives, and that little bit of money justifies that I can spend just a couple extra more hours, and those are across a week, and that's just a little bit extra time I can spend on this without having to work in order to make the money that I need to make in a month. So I do that, and I'm excited that my platform is growing in such a way that it makes sense for me to spend time on this. So I would say no, I shouldn't take that money and go donate it. I think I'm doing good for the cause by being on here and doing this. So if that just means I get to spend a little bit more time on it, then that's a good thing. And actually, I will say that I have made so little money through TikTok that I actually haven't cashed any of it yet. It's all just sitting in the PayPal and in the Venmo account. I've like not withdrawn any of it because it just isn't substantial enough for me to like do that on Bill's Day yet. So to answer your question literally, no, I haven't yet, but I will, and I will use it for my cost of living. And then I will very, very dramatically change the way I discuss donations to me when I get to a place where I'm making enough money, and then donations on top of that are actually just going to me instead of just going to me spending more time on this. It's about $3,000 a month. If I made about $3,000 a month doing this, beyond that would be like just going to me. But up until that point, I would stop working and focus on this. So it would just pay for me doing this, which a lot of people would then consider work. You still there?
Yeah, I kind of stepped away. That was a long diatribe.
Okay.
So, what's the difference between me selling Trump 2028 stuff and you sitting on here spreading your word?
Well, I'm suggesting
making money.
Well, I mean, the two are antithetical to each other. I literally, in this call, have spread the idea that it's in bad taste to like sell memes and merch about the president violating the Constitution, and you're sitting here saying it would be a good thing to do. I think that the reason it's bad for you to sell Trump 2028 hats is because creating such branding and merchandise further normalizes the disrespect for the Constitution that the president has, and that might make the public more willing to let him get away with his constitutional violations. I'm trying to make the public less willing to let him get away with it.
Is it against the law to assault people?
Yes.
So you post a video of
I didn't hear exactly.
and that's different.
No, so I just sorry. Say it. You're breaking up. Your signal's bad. Say that again.
Okay, so you posted a video for fame and fortune of a woman being assaulted.
I'm going to interrupt you right away because you're doing this. No, you're doing this thing. You're doing this thing that you always do when you call me, which is that you accuse me of doing it for fame and fortune. I gave a long, nuanced explanation of how I don't feel that's the case. You ignored everything that I said and then said yes. Anyway, so going back to what I said, you're doing this for fame and fortune. So you just ignore what I say and put your words on there. You feel that I'm doing it for fame and fortune.
Why am I not? How is it different?
I already explained that. I just wanted to point it out that what you're doing is in poor faith. What's your comment about the video I posted on Saturday?
You brag that you have how many viewers do you have on that video?
That video on Instagram, it has like, I don't know, like more than 100,000 last time I looked.
Okay.
It like crossed 100,000 yesterday, I think.
Mm-hmm. Of a person being assaulted, which is against the law.
Yeah, she also did go there to film herself getting assaulted. So if anything, I was helping her with that. In addition to helping her not get assaulted, because I did. What do you?
Let me just make sure. You just said she woke up and said, "You know what? I'm going to go to this protest to be assaulted, and I want to record it." Is that what your claim is?
Yeah, that's 100% what she was there to do. That I'll accuse her of.
To be assaulted.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, okay.
I will, Savanah Hernandez, I'm accusing you of that. You performatively wanted to get yourself assaulted, and it worked.
Your opinion is that she wants to be assaulted. Okay.
Yeah, I do think that that's what she was doing. It's bad that she was assaulted. And can I just ask for your opinion on the fact that I stopped people from assaulting her? Because that is what's shown in the video.
According to your diatribe yesterday, you didn't.
Well, I was more agnostic. Oh yeah, you were listening yesterday. So yesterday I got on stream and I talked about the fight that happened on Saturday, and I said that I was just like a little agnostic as to exactly who was in the wrong, because it, like, the exact moment that the fight broke out, they were right in front of me. They were in the frame of my camera, but they were facing away from me, and obscured to my camera and to my eyes were their arms. So I just couldn't really see exactly what happened. So I'll tell you this. This is going to be another diatribe, but I think you're actually going to like what I say. I got to reviewing footage yesterday. I sat down to edit. I'm working on a longer video about what happened on Saturday, and I didn't even get to that part before I changed my mind, because I was watching the 15 or 20 minutes that led up to when the fight started, and I saw that the Minnesota Angry family was like being pushier than the rest of the crowd. They were doing things where it's like, no. Like, you might brush elbows with somebody in a crowd, but you were getting in her personal space. You were blowing that whistle too close to her. They were really driving the conflict there. So I actually saw so much of that happening that I no longer cared exactly like how the scuffle started when they started bumping elbows. They were in the wrong. They were flatly in the wrong. I have nothing to say in their defense. Savanah Hernandez like sucks for different reasons. I don't like why she was there. I don't like her. I've got lots of negative things to say about her. But yeah, like I have yesterday, I didn't say that I was sure they were in the right. I just said I didn't know. I've reviewed the footage and other people's footage, and yeah, they were in the wrong. So what's your point? You got muted. That wasn't me. There, you're unmuted.
Are you done?
Yeah.
So you hate her for going to your protest.
I hated her before she showed up.
She speak for you guys, and then you guys assaulted her, but it's her fault.
Don't accuse me of assaulting her. I stopped her from being assaulted.
No, you didn't. Not according to what you said yesterday.
Well, no, dude, that's absurd. There's video of me pulling Minnesota Angry Man off of her. Don't be ridiculous. What I said yesterday is that it wasn't super clear to me, and I didn't want to just go off my recollection. I wanted to really study the footage, but I needed to get my live stream out before Dean Withers got live, and then I was going to sit and edit, and that's what I did. I've since done that, and I've come to my conclusion with all the information I was able to find, and yeah, they were totally in the wrong. Like, the protesters were totally in the wrong. What type of inconsistency is it you're trying to point out?
I'm still trying to figure out how me selling shirts is different from.
No, you're pivoting, dude. You just accused me.
I'm not pivoting. You are. Okay, I'll read it to you. This is what you said.
He wrote
She
it down.
backed up to me. I was her wall when she was feeling threatened and people were surrounding her.
Yeah.
So why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you try to protect people? Why did you not protect her before the assault happened if she was backing towards you? And
I can't predict the future, and I can't just go.
When you stated it was getting violent towards her due to her speaking.
The chat.
You knew that.
Okay, I'll respond to that.
Instead of de-escalating the problem, you just grabbed your phone so you could record the assault for fame and profit.
Okay, so I will respond to the things you're saying, and I will just answer to the chat. Yes, he is doing the thing where we're talking about two different topics, and if he doesn't like what I said about one, he just pivots to the other. It's a terrible debate tactic.
See how he's running away, guys? Track star.
I am a track star. I'm super good at running, but I am not a track star in this conversation. I'm responding directly to what you said. The reason I said what I said yesterday about assessing that things might go south, I had kind of noticed that like the situation was getting heated and that people were getting too close to her, and I actually saw Raven, one of the other protesters. In reviewing my footage, I now realize it wasn't just me on one side of her, it was another protester named Raven on the other side of her, and both of us were kind of standing there like keeping some distance between her and the other people. I have some experience in crowd management from like working at music venues, so I just like know a little bit about how to handle crowd conditions. So I just inserted myself in a de-escalatory position, which is that I stood near her, taking up a lot of space, but like not moving or being like involved or talking to her. I was just standing there filming like this with my phone. And there was another protester on the other side who was doing that and also reaching out and keeping people off of her. So like, that is like what's reasonable for de-escalation before somebody actually does something illegal, because I can't just pick a person in the crowd and say, I think you're going to do something illegal and like cause a problem. But it was because of the fact that I had detected that the situation might go south that I was close. So when it did go south, I immediately got in the way. Hello? I just don't really know what you're trying to argue, dude. Like I broke up a fight.
Exactly. You're building my case for me. I know from venue security how to de-escalate and feel when stuff is getting dangerous.
I have some real serious work experience in crowds. Yeah.
Protect her. Unfortunately, record her getting assaulted.
She also didn't drop her phone. Do you think that her assault is invalidated by the fact that she was filming instead of focusing on her own safety? Oh man, he's actually not being that difficult today, but the audio's bad. Sorry, say your response again. Your audio, if you could like, I don't feel like I have 100% of your attention. You're like moving around and making a lot of noise and unmuting yourself and muting yourself a lot. Dude, I'm trying to give you the platform, and I like this time it's not even that you're being all that difficult. It's that there's too much background noise. Can I have 100% of your attention, please?
Maybe.
I'm going to kick you just for not answering that yes, because I'm doing a call-in show and too many people watch for me to have guests on who don't have...
Too many people watch. I'm the only one in...
Yeah, too many... you're not the only one in the queue. Tony Hurst is up next, but too many people watch for me to have somebody on who just isn't giving me their full attention. So if you want to come on another time and give me your full attention, we can try again, the husband cop. I know you get nervous when you get to talk to Oskar, your favorite live streamer, but we'll try again later. I'm going to bring Tony Hurst up. I'm going to remind him to not violate the TikTok terms of service, to be a Trump supporter, and to tell me how old is he. And hello, Diava. Good to see you. How old are you, Tony Hurst? Tony Hurst. You there? Oh, I believe in you, Tony Hurst. I believe in your internet connection. Come on. Come on. Come on. I don't even have the boot button. They're just like still stuck connecting. It like doesn't give me a disconnect button while they're connecting. So it's just like sitting here like not working. Taylor says, yeah, ditch cop. He literally isn't here for intelligent conversation, just pointing fingers. Yeah, I mean, I like let him up every now and then just to remind everybody that he, like why I don't have him up often, because he just uses the same tactics about everything. He just ignores what I say and then goes back to his original assertion. And then I said, hey, you accused me of this. I responded to it. You don't have a response to my accusations. Oh yeah, so Tony Hurst is gone. Diava, you can hop up for a little bit if you're in the mood, because it is. Yeah, it's still 11. I got time. But I don't have callers right now, so you guys should get double tapping on the screen. I actually am super disappointed he wasn't willing to give it his full attention, because I have been wanting to talk to some of my haters about what happened on Saturday, because I don't know, I can't show the whole thing on TikTok because it features violence, but go watch the video on my Instagram. And then tell yourself the husband cop 89 is the type of person who can watch this video and say that I was not de-escalating in it. How are you doing, Diava?
Hi. I'm doing all right. I just wanted to say he didn't seem to want to have a real good faith conversation.
He never does.
It seemed like he just wanted to finger point and blame you for grifting, and that's called an accusation. Every accusation is a confession.
Yeah.
And he's grifting, and he knows it. And selling Trump 2028 merch is an absolute grift.
Well, yeah, sending merch that undermines our democracy is a little bit different than like asking for likes and shares on a live stream where you talk about democracy.
Right. I mean, he's literally just trying to justify what he's doing, and it's wrong, because number one, he's ineligible to run in 2028. Number two, he's probably not even going to be on this earth by then. We can only hope. Mm-hmm. But he's jealous. That's all it is. He's just up here trying to make it like you're doing something wrong for making any money on this app.
Yeah, the thing that interests me about the husband cop 89, the reason I haven't banned him and the reason I continue to give him the airtime that I do, because here we are talking about him, is that there's this ratio of like how ridiculous a caller is to like how bad faith they are. And he's actually in kind of an interesting spot, because most people who are as ridiculous as him are so bad faith that you can't even get like one sentence out. Those are the callers that will just yell the N-word at you, that will just like do whatever that just immediately nukes the call. You either have to kick them for TOS or it's just impossible to listen to. And he is like a unique degree of being completely nonsensical, but I think I can wrangle him. I think he's got a big enough ego that if I literally have it bookmarked ready, a 60-second timer, so that if he comes up and I need to institute it, I warn him every time I might have to get the timer out. I think that if I play a timer, he will not interrupt me, because I think he wants to show that he can do it. But the problem that we ran into in that call is that if I talk for longer than 5 seconds, he stops listening. So the husband cop 89, very sorry, but my account is doing too well to have guests on who don't give the call 100% of their attention. You really got to lock in if you're going to talk to me. I recommend it.
Well, it's just rude to be. It is rude and disrespectful. I mean, I usually have 500 to 1,000 people watching my lives every day, and if you're just going to waste my time and be doing other things and knocking around and working or in your tool shed, rummaging around, it's just rude. People listening don't want to hear that. A lot of people wear headphones, and it's really, really loud when you're banging shit in the background and not paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, then they immediately come on this offensive of like, oh, to how many people watching? And it's like, I always have to say the double thing of like, even if I had one person watching, it is still just rude, as you pointed out, Diava, to like mess with a person's live stream. Like, what if it's somebody's first live stream? We should support somebody trying it out for the first time. Why like, you should. It's like me as a musician. It doesn't matter if there's 3 people watching or 300. I'm going to try to treat that show the same, like for the sake of it being a good show. And then on the other hand, I get to, you and I have enough success in this that we get to be the smarmy prick that says like, no, a lot of people are watching. Like, even if it's right now, it's only like 50 people live. A lot of my clips get enormous numbers of views. I haven't broken 1 million with a debate clip yet, but I've gotten halfway there, I think.
That's really cool.
Yeah. They don't know about the debate scene over on Instagram. They have no idea that we're over here yapping away. I should set a small gift goal. I actually had a Galaxy. I had a Galaxy gift goal, and that was actually working out. I got some Galaxies, but I'm gonna set something chiller for today.
Just set a small gift goal. But the thing is what I've never seen a group of people who pocket watch as much as fucking MAGA does. These people are so pressed about how much. I mean, every single day on my live, I at least get asked by one person, so how much money do you make off of this? Are you doing good? How much do you make? I'm like, I don't ask you how much you make at your job, so why are you asking me? And they're like, this isn't a job. It's not a job. I'm like, well, it is for me. It's been working out for me for 2 years now. I said, it's better. You guys bitch if people are on welfare. You bitch if people take food stamps. You bitch if people get any type of government help. So when I lost my job, I got on here and started doing debates and shit to make some money. At least I'm hustling. At least I'm not taking any social services. You guys bitch that Democrats don't work and just get welfare. And like, you can't please them. You can't win. No matter what you do, you can't win.
Well, yeah. I mean, never mind the fact that like, when I say I'm an entertainer, I mean that in very much a personal way. Like, it's the type of person that I am. It's something I'm very stuck with. The joke I like to tell my artist friends is that like, I never wanted to be a starving artist, but I just grew up a little bit and realized you don't choose whether you're either of those things. So some of us just are starving artists, and here we are. So yeah, like most of what we're doing here is entertainment. Most of the people watching are just being entertained. Maybe they're learning something. And if people want to support that, if people want there to be, that's the way I always phrase it. If you want Oskar Quentin to go live on TikTok more, there are ways for you to help that happen. So it's just like, he's going to call me a grifter, but he's selling Trump 2028 hats. But this is also a person who watched my footage from Saturday and says that I didn't break up the fight. So
sounds like he's a fan.
Sounds like he's a fan. Have you seen my footage from Saturday? Did you go to my Instagram and watch it where the full thing is? Oh
no, unfortunately I can't watch things like that.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
I'm a very, very troubled empath. Like, I'm very, very empathetic. I don't like to see people. I don't like to watch fights. I can't watch boxing.
Okay. Yeah, it's not the content like for
that.
you.
Yeah, I can't watch stuff like that because it disturbs me, like, literally on the inside.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for whoever's getting their ass beat, whether I like them or not. I just can't help it. I don't like to see those kind of things. I can't even watch those blooper reels where people are like on bicycles and they like fall off their bikes, so they hit a curb and they go flying through the air and people are laughing. I can't watch those either. Like, I can't watch skateboarding mishaps, any of those kind of things. I just can't. I can't handle those. So.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, and I mean, it is just still fascinating to me, the response that it's been, because like even in that call, he accused me of not having it right yesterday. And what I said on my stream yesterday is that like it had just happened yesterday, and I've been really busy in the 24 hours since it happened, and I haven't done like my full Alex Preddy from 8 Camera Angles review of exactly what happened. I have since done that, and yeah, she was not in the wrong. I mean, she's in the wrong for being a Nazi, but the protesters were in the wrong for assaulting her.
I agree with that. Like, I agree with your premise.
And by the way, I'm burning personal bridges by saying that, because this is real life for me. This isn't the internet. These are people I know in person.
However, she went there to agitate. So
100%.
She can't be surprised of what response she got.
Well, a lot of people have pointed out that I didn't drop my phone and like help as much as I could have, but I have two responses to that. One of them is you want people to film when you're in trouble. That's like part of protection in the 21st century. And then the other thing is, neither did she. In fact, I would argue that she might be due some assault charges, because there were 2 occasions where the fight was like over, and instead of continuing to retreat, which a lawyer might argue you have a duty to in Minnesota. I don't actually know how it works without firearms involved, so I want to like talk to some legal experts on this. There's so many times where like I'm pulling Minnesota Angry Man off of her, the crowd like gets separation, they're 10 feet away, and she gets up on her feet, whips her phone back out, like back up, and then walks back over to him and like gets in his face again. And it's like, lady, you got what you wanted. The fight started. You don't get to keep restarting the fight. Like, absolutely. Like,
and she went there for content, and she got it.
Yeah, so. she didn't drop her phone. And I mean, she threw hands. She really got into it with Minnesota Angry Daughter, and she held her own. So props to her for that. But yeah, I mean, it's just what's been fascinating for me in the last 48 hours is, of course, like everybody watches it and just sees what they want to see. I think I actually managed to behave in a way that most of the people on the right and most of the people on the left are happy with how I handled that situation, which is incredible. But of course, there are people who are mad that I did not also help fight her because she's a Nazi, because they just want to see Nazis assaulted. There are people who like are mad at me for not catching every single punch. There's just like always these little things you can pick apart. There's even one point in the video where she's like kind of getting piled on, and my buddy Derek, who was there filming with me, is like pulling people off of her, and I'm just filming it. And in reviewing the footage, I thought, wow, my head's really not in the game. But that was like right after Minnesota Angry Man like appeared out of nowhere and like blitzed her, so my eyes were on him. I was like filming to my left, looking to my right to like make sure he wasn't going to get back involved. It just happened very quickly. It's all very, officer, it happened so fast. But it really did. These things happen quickly when you're there on the ground.
Maybe next time ask husband if the officer that unalived Renee Good should have retreated and got out of the way.
But I mean, I didn't. I wish I could have talked to the husband cop longer about it. But I'm not even like really clear what his thoughts on it were, because of course, he didn't respond to any of my questions. He didn't respond to anything I had to say about it. He just pointed out that apparently I didn't stop the fight, even though I did, and that like he's doing. This is something I've been talking a lot about in the last 48 hours. This goes on a lot in the Instagram comments under that video. But I am very upset by seeing so many people say, like, well, she even did this to the police officer. She pointed at me and the people who had rescued her, like the 4 or 5 of us who had broken up the fight. And she said, these people attacked me. And we all had to be like, lady, no, we didn't. Over there. The people over there attacked you. Don't tell this police officer that we assaulted you, because we are literally standing here in a circle around you, preventing those people from coming near you. It's collective punishment. It's you people did this. You people did this. No, Minnesota Angry Man, his daughter and his wife did some dumb things. And their court, after I get off the live, I'm sure I'll get some news about it, because their court hearing about it was this morning. And like, they invited me to, I couldn't go because I had work, but they invited me to support. And like, I told them that I did tell them I was going to support them, but I have to withdraw that support because I just watched too much video of it to come away saying anything other than that what they did is bad. But it is still so frustrating that people can say that I'm one of them. Oh,
well, that's just having integrity. That's having integrity and the truth. And maybe next time, maybe you can tell a husband this. I look at what you guys do out there, like when Adam Cray went to Minnesota and everybody else went to Minnesota. And I know that they didn't stay the whole time like you have. But what I personally feel is that every single one of you are documenting history. You guys are documenting what our kids and grandkids are going to be reading in their history books and learning about in later years. And they're going to have your videos.
Filming, right?
They're going to have... they're going to have the photos. They're going to have the films. They're going to have all these things.
Well, and I can celebrate the fact that as a journalist, I had a good day on Saturday, because I don't consider myself a journalist when I'm sitting on here. What I'm doing on here is entertainment and a little bit of education, and I'm really I try to keep that ratio in a way that I'm happy with, where I educate people by tricking them into staying and enjoying the live and watching the clips by me being entertaining. And I don't really feel bad about shilling for the gift goal that I rapidly see filling up. Thank you, Taylor and Midwest and everybody. I don't feel bad telling people to go to the link tree in my bio and follow me on the other platforms, and that supports me for free, or find some options in there to not support me in ways that aren't free. I don't feel bad sitting here on my own show that I produce in my little... This was literally a studio before I started doing TikTok. This is my music studio that I'm sitting in my crappy little studio apartment. I don't feel bad shilling about that. But on Saturday, I'm doing a more journalistic thing, and I'm not going to shill all that hard. But I am willing to sit here and just gab with my friend Diava about, as a journalist, the journalist that I was on Saturday. I am so proud of the fact that I got the best footage of that altercation that anybody got. Everybody who is there is jealous that I got the footage that everybody's using. Jolly Good Ginger's video about it uses my footage. Robbie Roadsteamer posted a video just literally during this live, so I haven't watched it yet, but like that features my footage. Like, I got the shot, and like, as much as it sucks that what happened was bad for our cause, like, it was history. A little bit of the history in this movement happened on Saturday. It was an L for us, but as a journalist, I can be excited that I got the shot, because never mind the 100,000 views that the hard post has. That video has many millions of views because I gave it for free to everybody to use, because I value the journalism more than the money.
And so if they think all that should just be for free, that they don't know how capitalism works.
Yeah, people have been asking me how much I'm charging for the footage, and I'm like, I just give it to free for any, like, I give a Google Drive link to anybody who asks for it because I think it's important for the footage to get out there.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just like, as a camera dork, as a person who likes getting good footage, I'm excited that I got good footage. Because I saw the situation brewing, and I did both things. I got good coverage of it, but I also got involved, which makes me not totally a journalist. Because Andrew Mercado's getting a lot of hate for not getting involved, but he's like with a bigger camera rig farther away, and like definitely doing a more solely journalistic thing where it wouldn't quite be appropriate necessarily, but of course it was violence against women, so a lot of people are being judged for not getting involved. But I mean, for me personally, just to be like honest and true about what was happening in that moment, is that like when I reached in and started getting involved, I wasn't thinking politically at all. Like, it had nothing to do with who was who. It's just bar fight reactions. I am the guy that when there's a bar fight, I get in there and like stop it because no fight should continue. And that's kind of the mode I was in that moment, where it's just like, all right, the distance created. Oh, this lady's going after her. No, let me scoop her off. Like that's like I said, I have some crowd management experience from work, and that like I'm not afraid of like hook scooping somebody's torso with my arm to pull them off of somebody. It's a move I've done many, many, many times in a crowd. So I just yeah, I mean, of course, but people on the left watch it and find a reason to hate me for it. People on the right watch it and find a reason to hate me for it. And I think that's fascinating, and we should talk about it. And that's good because I run a talk show.
Exactly. Anybody that's watching, if you voted for Donald Trump and you want to come up and debate him, I will drop down. But everybody should be tapping the screen, sharing the live. Let's try to get some traffic in here.
Yeah.
And if you voted for Donald Trump, come on up. I will drop, and you can just talk one-on-one with Oskar.
Ideally, I would really love to have some conversations about what happened. If that's interesting. I mean, I'll talk about whatever as always. But it's been fascinating to me that I haven't today and yesterday. I haven't been able to get like a decent call about what happened, when people are, as fact would have it, very upset about what happened and very upset with me. But I think it is just that vocal minority. I think that what really happened is that I can just be happy that I managed to behave in a way that I think I kept both sides pretty happy with my performance on Saturday. Foxy Roxy's in the queue. I will wait to kick you, Diava, until we know it's a good call, but I will bring them up, and we'll remind them that they need to be a Trump supporter, not disobey the TOS, and we'll start by asking Foxy Roxy, 84, how old are you?
I'm above 40.
I believe
we'll just
you.
Say that.
I believe you. Did you vote for Trump? You support Trump?
I do not.
Okay.
I did not.
I'll give you a brief.
But
I'll give you 10 seconds to say your piece, but it is bad for the stream, so you can get your piece and get out of here.
I want to thank you for what you did, because safety is the most important thing. And whether I agree with somebody or not, it is not my choice to go on to deal with somebody else's body, and that's what both parties are having issues with right now.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing is like, I was raised in that mentality or with those type of people, but I also have a good enough conscience where I know that that's not right. And like, I learned better growing up. I was like, I disagree with you. Like, me and my brother will fight about it left and right. I'm like, and you fell for that? And it just made him stop instantly. I'm like, you fell for that? Okay, great. He couldn't say anything more.
I gotta kick you. Sorry. It's bad for the stream, but thank you so much for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, it is just that's more important than everything else. Like, all this political stuff goes out the window when there's a fight happening in front of me, and yeah, it's that straightforward. And the one thing, I'm curious your thoughts on this, Diava, because it's the one piece of conflict I felt while I was reviewing the footage yesterday, is that so many people were blowing loud things in her ears, and every like a lot of the comments are like, yeah, blowing a whistle in somebody's ear like that's assault, which it is under normal circumstances. But the reason I say under normal circumstances is because Not really in a crowd. Like it becomes a gray area, you know? Like, how close to somebody's ear, how intentional about it do you have to be before it's an assault? Carla's in the chat asking if there's videos of the fight. Can't post fight videos on TikTok, I'll get banned. So they are on my Instagram and my YouTube. You can find a link tree in the bio, and you can find that quickly. I got pretty insane coverage of the altercation, so my footage is pretty clear, showing everything. But yeah, basically, my question to you, Diava, is like, it is, I guess, I just want to know how you feel about that. It is a little gray when the thing that you came to is a noise demonstration, I think.
I agree with you. She came there to agitate. She came there to instigate. You have to know that she knew she wasn't going to be received well. And I think she put herself in this situation. So do I think she deserves to get beat up over it? No. But do I think she knew exactly what she was doing? Yes, I do.
Yeah. I mean, she came there for her content, and you can even like see in the footage that I have where she's like brushing off all of this like actual discourse and coverage of what's happening, just like trying to get her Turning Point USA narrative of like all the people who were telling her to leave. She was then focusing on those people, like, oh, you really want me to leave? Like, isn't this a free country? And she's like making that free speech argument, and it's like, of course she's going to latch onto that. But actually, you are allowed to ask somebody to leave. You're just not allowed to order somebody to leave.
Correct.
You can say you're not welcome here. It doesn't violate the First Amendment to say we hate you, we don't want you here. You're allowed to stay. You're just going to be staying around a bunch of people who hate you and don't want you here, which is your right. You're allowed to do that in public, in the place where, you know, where she was standing. She was inside the protesting cages at the Whipple because they made us cages to protest in. It's like something out of a sitcom. They literally did it in Arrested Development. It's insane.
Oh my God.
For people who are like lost in the chat because you've joined here, there was a protest at the Whipple Federal Building on Saturday in Minneapolis, and a Turning Point USA correspondent by the name of Savanah Hernandez showed up and did some arguing in bad faith and making some dishonest content and stuff like that, and she got assaulted by at least three people, notably three people, a family, a daughter and a mother and father, who are noteworthy members of the protest scene here. So Minnesota Angry Man is maybe a person you'd recognize if you saw their face. They assaulted her, and there was a lot of like edging up to it where it's like, I'm gonna bump your elbow a little harder, like give 1% more. Like the crowd was like getting heated, and then it broke out. But in reviewing the footage, what I found is that those three parties that I mentioned were just really like, it wasn't 1% escalation, 1% escalation, 1% escalation until somebody gets it out of hand. It was 1% escalation and then 10% escalation from the Minnesota Angry family. 1% escalation back from her, 10% more from them. They were really pushing the violence, and that's so like the controversy right now is that everybody has to make this stand and say that she was assaulted, as TikTok sucks is reiterating, even though I said it just a second ago. Because yeah, we have eyeballs. We're not like Republicans who can look at the Renee Good and Alex Preddy footage and say that they weren't murdered. I can look at the footage and go, no, she was assaulted, definitely. I do feel a little bit for the people who assaulted her because they stepped in a bear trap. You know, it's not a normal lawyer that's coming for them. It's a Turning Point USA lawyer. It's not a normal lawsuit they're about to face. Like they're about to have the book thrown at them in a way that will make me wonder again why the president, who's a rapist and felon, isn't in prison. But so I'm a little, you know, especially like the dad did something pretty egregiously horrible. His blitz attack after the fight had been broken up, he came out of nowhere and shoved this tiny girl, and he's a big dude, and that was really, really bad. The fight had been over for like 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is an eternity in a fight, and that was just not chill. He made the decision to go over there and do that, and like he could catch some very serious charges for that. I mean, the girl, like the daughter, the person who started it, I don't know. How long do you go to prison for getting into a bar fight, right? It was a bar fight at a political rally, so like it gets complicated. But you know, I don't know. It was a scuffle. It was a scrape. The mom, kind of the same thing. She definitely like you know, nothing that the daughter or the mom did, I think, like, were like a real danger to Savanah having her skull cracked open. But what Minnesota Angry Man did could have cracked her skull open. So that's dangerous. This is a dude who's bigger than me, and he not that I'm tall. I'm not like big, stocky, but he comes out of nowhere and shoves her in a way that is just like, it's hot. Like, it's like I feel for him because it was his daughter, and his daughter was in a fight, and that's the first words out of his mouth is like, "Don't fucking touch my daughter." So like, he had the like seeing red dad moment, but like, got to be able to fucking control yourself. You can't do that. You can't shove a tiny woman over. Yeah, you just like, I can feel all these ways about it and still just like come to the obvious conclusion that they were in the wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I was a court reporter for 15 years before I became a paralegal, and I had a court case. It was just like that. These two guys got into a scuffle outside of a convenience store. One guy shoved the shit out of the other guy, and he fell off the curb and hit his head on the parking stump thing. And he had a seizure, and he was like, had brain damage.
Yeah, and that's why I know about those sorts of dangers, and that's why my reaction in these situations is always to just break it up, whatever the hell it is. Just, I don't care. Just, we can talk about it after. Great, somebody swung. Great, that means somebody will be charged. Whatever. Like, it's all filmed. Like, let's just. So even though the intent wasn't there for him to give him brain damage or to hurt him that bad, if not for him pushing him, he wouldn't have suffered a brain injury. And so, you know, the guy did get, you know, some jail time. The family was going for attempted murder, and, you know, they didn't go that far. But it was really a sad case. I mean, it was really, really sad. It was like just a domino effect of things that happened from just a shove. And the guy felt horrible for it. He just wanted the guy to get out of his face, more or less. Yeah, and there's plenty of times where somebody throws a punch. Consequences. Sometimes somebody throws a punch and it lands wrong, and you have a little brain bleed, and that's curtains on that dude. Like, violence is bad. Like, it's just you exactly. And that actually is why I'm generally okay with like the floodgates opening on self-defense, because I recognize that even like, oh, you can take somebody throwing a little punch at you, and it's like, yeah, I've eaten plenty of punches in my life, but like, it doesn't mean that the next one might not give me a brain bleed. Like, you should be able to defend yourself, like, with vigor if your bodily autonomy has been violated to any degree, I think. And I mean, the thing I'll say, not in defense of the people who assaulted her, but just against Savanah, is like, she wasn't operating with that consideration. She wasn't thinking, oh my God, this is dangerous, I better get out of here. She was, how can I get up and get into this and cause more drama? All right, I'm going to bring Kumphy up, and we're going to see if they're a good call before I let Diava go. Kumphy, please don't violate the TikTok terms of service. Please be a Trump supporter. Oh, no, they canceled. They canceled right when I clicked it. I got that. We so clicked it at exactly the same time. I got a special message saying that they disconnected before connecting. Oh, he's back. We'll try again. That happened yesterday. We'll try again. Please don't violate TikTok terms of service. Please be a Trump supporter. And how old are you?
I'm 20.
All right.
I'm not a Trump supporter. I disagree with everything Trump has ever done.
That's awesome. I totally love you for that. But we're looking for ops today. Thank you for the heart me. W guest. We can send W's for the Trump supporters, but we are looking for better content than that. Anyway, as I was saying, Savanah just like there's this part you haven't watched it, Diava, because you don't want to see the violence, but there's this part where she's like getting away, and then she's immediately still has her phone out, and she's like, all these people attacking me, and she's like looking at me, and I say to her something like, I'm going to change the wording a little bit because I said something mean, but I'll kidify a little bit for TikTok TOS. But I said something like, oh my God, you idiot. I am the person helping you. Stop yelling at me. Except I cursed at her and I called her a name. Not even, I think I called her an idiot. Like basic, like TikTok bullying TOS type stuff. And like, even that, I'm getting hate for being a woman abuser, for yelling at her when you can like, I mean, I know me, and I can hear the frustration in my own voice where it's like, lady, like, let's get you out of here. That's what, for like 90 seconds of this footage, I'm just saying, like, stop yapping. We need to go. Like, you're in, like, there, yeah, like my situation, because I didn't know these 3 people are family members. I didn't have that type of context. I saw that she got into a fight with the one girl. I had figured out the other lady that attacked her was the mom of that girl. And then, like, really quickly, I'd learned that Minnesota Angry Man was their daughter, and I was kind of putting that all together. But this is all inside of 30 seconds where, like, what as a matter of fact was happening is that people were just coming from left and right attacking Savanah. So I'm trying to get distance from her in the crowd. I'm pushing the crowd back. I'm literally standing. There's footage of me, like, standing with, like, 10 people coming, and I'm, like, hands out, like, back the fuck up. It's over. I'm pushing the whole crowd away. So she wants to come up and yap and get in Minnesota Angry Man's face. And I'm like, lady, time to go. We need to go. Are we leaving? Do you have a ride? Let's get you out of here. Like, I'm doing the, like, but she wanted it, you know? She was there. She got what she wanted. I bet she opened a bottle of champagne about getting assaulted on Saturday. And that's shitty to say about somebody who's obviously an assault victim. But, like, I can talk trash about somebody who deserves it. She a little shit stain, and I don't like her, and I do not like that that I had to step in on that. Yeah, I helped film it. I helped film it because I want people who follow Oskar Quentin to know that they're gonna see what I saw when I go to the Whipple. I had so many people ask me to take the footage down, and I just said, like, as sad as I am that my footage is a W for her, for Savanah, it is more important to me that people know that my footage is going to be an honest representation of what happened. That is paramount to what I'm doing on here.
That's integrity.
Yeah, I was going to say, you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say journalistic and intellectual integrity are paramount, and I have to be careful about how I leverage being entertaining in order to pursue my journalistic goals, my commentator goals, my activistic goals, because I can be entertaining and silly, but I can't do it at the expense of my journalistic or intellectual integrity. And, like,
no.
I had to tell, like, they asked me to take the footage down, the people who committed the assault, and I had to say no, which is, like, hard, because for me, as a person who's, like, trying to be a part of this very public activistic thing we're all doing, it's like a minor celebrity in that world is somebody who's asking me to do something, and I have to say no. Like, I have to put my foot down and say that my Instagram, the integrity on my Instagram account is more important than my relationship with you. And that's hard to do, because I, like, up until Saturday, like, was excited that I was getting to know those people. I'm still excited that like, you know, like, I get a little giddy about the fact that DeWoke Farmer's following me on Instagram now. That's exciting. Like, I'm excited about these social steps that are happening as I become a bigger voice in this thing. But I just gotta, journalistic integrity's gotta come first. That's always, there's no way around that. And that's the problem with Republicans these days. To make the whole thing full circle about, like, what we're all talking about anyway, Republicans fucking lack integrity, and that's like fundamentally what it is. The fact that these Republicans can go up, just the fact that they can just go up there and say completely false shit that isn't what happened, is absolutely insane. I'm blown away. I got her to thank me. I edited it in a way I wish I hadn't, because there's one cut in that video, just a cut for me shaking her hand and her thanking me, and I should have included the 4 seconds before that where I said, "Do you want the ride or not?" And then she turned and said no and turned and walked away as though I hadn't done anything to her, and it made her look so much worse. I just was editing in a hurry. Because screw her, I want her to look bad. She does look bad in the, like, I'm going to post longer content that shows, like, the lead up to it and everything. And, like, you can tell what she's doing there is dishonest. I have her debating with the crowd in bad faith, but, you know, that doesn't get the views. But, yeah, I just got to be honest about what happened. And what happened is that she got assaulted.
I mean, you're capturing and chronicling history. And part of America's history has been protests, from the civil rights era to, you know, all the different protests that have been happening over the hundreds of years that we've been a country. Protest is very much a part of our story. And so you capturing it and chronicling it is important. And I think doing it with integrity is paramount.
Yeah, and that's the. I mean, Andrew Mercado of Mercado Media. Some of you watching may have watched some of his live streams covering some of the ICE stuff. He still does it for events like these. His whole thing is that he just live streams everything because he doesn't. There's no way to be accused of shaping the narrative when you're live streaming.
Correct.
All they could say is that you didn't frame the shot in as honest a way as you could. So what Andrew Mercado said about it is like, he's not going to do more coverage on this incident because obviously it's like a stain and it's bad, but you can go watch his live stream VOD unedited on YouTube and it features exactly what went down. He didn't even decide to post it. He only decided to keep it up because it's just a live stream VOD. Knowing I didn't have time to edit good content about it together for days because I was busy on the weekend otherwise, I immediately got as uncut a sequence of the kerfuffle posted as I could. 2 minutes and 50 seconds long, plus 10 seconds for her thanking me at the end. And that's under 3 minutes, so it'll push in the algorithm, because if you post something longer than 3 minutes to Instagram, it only shows it to your followers. So it would have gotten like a few thousand views instead of the 100 or so thousand that it got. And then, of course, all the people who used my footage, because I think I got like the best, most usable footage of the altercation than anybody who was there, which was kind of the goal. So, yay. Journalistically, that's the goal, to get the good shot. Yeah, I just wanted to get it up and say like, this is what happened, and that's why so many people asked me to take it down, and it happened. We got to talk about it. We can have a conversation about what it means for political violence to be on the rise in America. I talk about that all the time. I talk about how that happens in countries when the Constitution isn't being followed, and my heart doesn't ache for Savanah. She sucks.
It's not that you've compromised your morals or anything about her or your thoughts about her, but what happened to her was wrong.
Yeah. Just, it's when I see a fight, I break it up. It's so much simpler than most of the other things I sit here and talk about, right? That's true. It's so much less complicated. We talk about a lot of complicated things on the live. This just isn't complicated. I saw a fight that I didn't want to continue, which is any fight, and I just, yeah.
All right, if you're a Trump supporter, go ahead and jump up here. I'll jump down. I'm just up here talking with him, trying to bring in some people.
We're going to see if John Harms is a Trump supporter. I hope he is. We're going to remind him to obey the TikTok terms of service, and I will ask John, how old are you, John?
I'm 47. Trump supporter.
All right, I'm going to let my co-host Diava go. Thanks for hanging out.
You got it.
And we'll talk to John. What do you want to talk about?
What I want to know is why the left in general, doesn't have to be far leaning, but anyone on the left falls for all of the trolling that Donald Trump does so purposely. And it just eats them alive every day. Why don't they just let it go?
Okay, I think that you're mistaking our reaction to it for us like falling for it in the classic like we're not realizing that he's trolling way. I think some people fall for it. I think that people like myself, and I can only really speak for how I feel about these sorts of things, but when I see Donald Trump trolling, my issue isn't that I don't like being trolled, it's that I think that the US president shouldn't use trolling as a mechanism of exercising their authority. I think it's bad that the US president is a troll.
I would agree 100% with that.
Okay, so we're very, very upset. Correct. You're right about that part. We're very, very upset that the president is trolling.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm very upset.
I'm saying that I'm very upset. I am very, very upset. The left generally, if I'm to speak for the left in the way that you wanted me to, yeah, we're very, very upset that the president is trolling. It's not because he's that good a troll. It's because it's wildly fucked up that the president is trolling us. The president's trolling me. The president's trolling me about like my fellow activists getting killed in the street where I live. Like, lame. That sucks. We don't like that.
So what is your idea of how to stop it? Because the only way you guys are going to ever gain an upper hand is to make a change. And I have never seen, since the day he came down the gold escalator, you guys try and make a change?
All right, I actually have an interesting proposition I want to talk to you about that might answer your question, because it's a big question you just asked. Because obviously I could talk about the fact that Trump has done a great many things that should have him impeached. I could say that there's a bunch of things that he's done in his life that should disqualify him from being president, and we should get some rules on the books so that, for example, if you are found civilly liable of sexual abuse, that should probably disqualify you from being the president. I could talk about all that, but I actually have one thing that I think would be like potentially a way for us to navigate this mess going forward. And this would require bipartisan support. This would require voting. This is a long-term legal solution. But I think what's happened over the last 10 or 15 years, and forgive me for being long-winded, but I really want your answer to how I feel about this, is that we've seen in the last 10 or 15 years, Republicans have really begun to abuse the fact that you don't actually get in trouble as a politician in the United States if you lie to the people who are voting for you. If you lie to your constituents, you are allowed to go on the television and say a thing that is flatly false. We have protections against things like libel, where a person can sue you if you say something that's false about them. But if you say something that's false about, say, illegal immigrants as a group can't sue you to correct that. So when you say that, for example, they're violent and dangerous compared to another member of the population, that's false. That's a lie. That's not a true thing at all. There's no data that suggests that, and there's good data that suggests that the opposite is true. Or if you say that they're bad for the economy, that's also a lie. Economists don't think that. Anthropologists don't think that. Historians don't think that. Political science majors don't think that. Racists and bigots think that. But it is a lie to go and say that they're bad for the economy, that the illegal immigrants are crippling our economy. So what I think should change in America is that we should have some mechanism by which bigger lies, because I'm not talking about policing every odd little thing that somebody says, but I think there should be a mechanism in the United States government where if a politician or a party is out there telling a big lie that, like, for example, that illegal immigrants are more violent than people who aren't illegal immigrants, I think there should be a mechanism by which some committee, and I would hope the judicial or legislative branch, can say, hey, this thing you're saying about illegal immigrants is false. Stop saying it. And if they don't, they get disqualified from running. And I think it should only be the big lies. I'm talking about with Trump, it's like a dozen big lies he's told. And I think that there are so many of these where the public information is available to say that it's false, but most people aren't watching that closely and they believe that shit. And that fundamentally is the problem. In addition to the fact that we can't tell when the president's trolling and when he's lying, and then you get to say that he was doing one instead of the other to make it look better, depending on what exactly it is we're talking about. And that makes the whole thing all shitty. Before you got on, me and my co-host just had like a 20-minute conversation about academic and intellectual and journalistic integrity. I think we need to bring integrity back to our politics. I think you should get in trouble in American politics if you say something repeatedly that's false after it's pointed out to you that it's false.
Be a very hard thing to police because every single politician, right or left, is a liar.
Yeah, and I addressed that in my explanation of what I'm suggesting by saying that it shouldn't just be
big
for
lies.
Right. So, like, for example, I could imagine a situation where, like, halfway through the campaign, whatever committee comes out and says, hey, the thing about illegal immigrants being dangerous, this statement, false, big lie. The elections committee, or however we do it, here's the evidence, here's the experts we talk to, here's the data, like I'm talking about this is like very hypothetical land, because I'm talking about how to fix this long term, like years down the road in America, because we'd have to come up with a new mechanism of government. There'd be some new job titles in this, and then of course the question is, well, how do we make sure that those people don't just support the lies of the party that they prefer? And that's what we say about the Supreme Court, right? So we deal with that problem already, which is why I said maybe it'd be the sort of thing the judicial branch could handle, because it is supposed to be the courts that decide what's true or assess what's true. But my point is that if I was in charge of how the government works, I would create a mechanism that prevents people from being elected by telling lies, because unfortunately in the information era that we live in right now, people still vote for liars. Sometimes because they don't care that they're lying and trolling, which seems to be your camp, or because they don't know that they're being lied and trolled, which is a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that. I mean,
maybe you want to talk about some of those big lies then. Maybe you've been convinced of some of them. Do you think that illegal immigrants are more dangerous than the average person?
I think illegal immigration is the worst thing that has happened from a previous administration.
I'd say that that's a big lie. I think that.
Well, you can think it's a big lie, but I lived through September 11th, and
me too.
That happening again.
I have asthma from it. My father worked in Tower 2 and he drank himself to death about it, and I have asthma from it. I was there. So like I'm with you on like America, but again, that just doesn't change the fact that you're wrong when you say that illegal immigrants are like the worst thing to happen to us. There's lots of bad things that are happening to us right now, and illegal immigrants just aren't one of them. That's wrong.
I'm not saying that an illegal immigrant being here is the bad thing. I'm saying that allowing illegal immigration to exist in the manner that it did in the last 4 years is the problem.
So I want to keep to the facts of the matter because I do want to discuss that point with you. But the question I asked was, do you think that illegal immigrants are more criminal than the average citizen? Of course, with the asterisk that they're all criminals for being illegal immigrants. I mean, beyond that, their likelihood of assaulting you or robbing you or sexually assaulting somebody or something like that. Those bad crimes.
I've worked in the state of Florida for 25 plus years around illegal immigration with the farmers in Immokalee and all of that. And no, I don't think that they're any worse than a normal American citizen.
And we don't need to discuss it further because I don't like your methodology. You shouldn't judge by your anecdotal experience about, the ones that you've crossed paths with. We're talking about tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people in the country. Something more than 10 million illegal immigrants. Like, this is a big number of people. So your personal experience is just going to be a drop in the bucket. Tip of the iceberg wouldn't.
Oh, Florida's illegal immigration is a drop in the bucket?
I'm saying your personal.
Are you serious?
That's not what I said. What I said is that that's not what I said.
My personal experience, I'm just telling you what I've witnessed in my lifetime through my working experience.
All right, let me phrase this a different way. There are about 12 million illegal immigrants. How many of them have you met?
I couldn't even count.
Do you think it's a number that's bigger than like 10,000 or 100,000?
Probably at least 10,000.
Okay. Did you take comprehensive notes on their like behaviors and whether?
Yes, I take notes every time I talk to a person.
Oh.
I just get my notebook out and start jotting what I'm talking to.
Okay. So I know you're kind of like you're doing a little bit of trolling right now by answering that way. But what I'm pointing out is that your general impression from talking to some of the illegal immigrants is not a good way to assess what they are likely to all be like, especially because like while Florida represents a large like chunk of the illegal immigration in this country, it's like a third of it. It's a big chunk. It still is only a chunk of it. So you could imagine a situation where Florida illegal immigrants were highly unrepresentative of illegal immigrants elsewhere in the country because a lot of.
So you're sitting here trying to tell me that because I haven't taken notes and jotted down from 10,000 plus immigrants that I'm wrong. Well, what's your experience with the immigration?
I read studies about illegal immigrants that are done by people who take careful notes.
You're reading.
No, I'm not.
You're reading left-wing propaganda.
No,
so I don't want to hear that shit. Real life experience is better than the fucking paperwork that you're reading.
Okay, and that's actually something that you're very wrong about.
Is it?
Yeah. In general, people's ability to assess a general trend from their experiences is really bad. But this whole thing,
by going over to these people's house and breaking bread with their families and actually talking to them is a worse experience than reading something from the left-wing propaganda fucking factory that
I never talked about the left-wing fucking propaganda factory. You brought that up, but what I'm saying is that judging by the bread you've broken with some particular illegal immigrants is just not a good way to come to a conclusion about illegal immigrants as a whole. But this idea...
That's the best way.
It's not.
That is the best way. Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. You seem to have a categorical misunderstanding about how data collection works. There are too many people in this country for you to look at it this way. There's 350 million of us. How do you think that your personal experience is going to guide you to a good conclusion about policy that affects all of us when you simply can only scratch the surface?
By not putting them in a category, by treating them like real people.
Yeah, oddly enough, this is a strange...
You're making them a number. I'm not.
But the numbers are what we use to better understand large topics.
The numbers are the numbers. I'm talking about real world experience, like actually speaking with them and feeling their feelings.
I'm glad that you doing that has led you to some seemingly not hateful conclusions. But what I'm saying is that it's a crapshoot whether that makes you hateful or not. So we should look at the data because the data won't make anybody hateful.
You know that's not true.
Well, there are a lot of hateful people who call into my show. You're actually the first person who has given me this argument about all the illegal immigrants that they've met and told me that they like them. Usually people call into my show and tell me that they've met lots of illegal immigrants and they're all dangerous, monstrous criminals and they hate them all. So,
well, again, if you remember what I said to begin with, it's not the people that not the illegal immigrants that are working here that's bothered me.
But I'm talking about the illegal immigrants on average.
In here that we don't know who the fuck they are.
Okay, I agree that immigration is bad. I don't want there to be illegal immigration. I'd prefer those people to be documented and legal residents. So, like, again, you're just kind of sidestepping my point, which is that you can't make big policy decisions that affect millions of people based on the handful of people that you've met.
You can in drastic measures.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, you can, and it's going on, and I'm glad that it's going on.
No, it's bad. It's very bad that that's happening. You shouldn't do that.
Well, you know there's a legal process to get into this country and how hard it is to get through that.
Super broken, yeah. Very fucked up system.
It is. But there is a system.
Yeah, it's super broken. It's so broken, in fact, that it takes so many years to follow that I don't blame people who feel incentivized to come into the country illegally, because there's so many situations they're coming from in other countries that are bad enough that I do want them to come be an American. But our system is just so broken, I really can't blame them for just hopping the fence.
So you want that so badly, open the gates and just let anybody in for 4 years.
No, there's another solution here, which is to make the system better.
But that solution already took place.
No, it didn't. The system has been broken.
Oh, it absolutely did. The last 4 years, those gates were wide open, buddy.
That's false. What policy opened those gates?
Negligence. It's not a policy. It was just turning their eyes and putting them closed.
Okay, so the gates weren't opened. They were already open, and they turned a blind eye while people walked through? Because for the gates to become open, something has to happen. People need to institute a policy, a law needs to change, some enforcement effort needs to change. Like, something needs to happen to open the gates. So if you're saying that the gates were open and they were just ignoring the people coming in, who opened the gates? Was it Trump? He was president before Biden.
It was Kamala.
Okay, what did she do that opened the gates?
Negligence. I just said that.
No, you said that we're talking in a circle now, but like, you can't open something by doing nothing. How did she open the gates? What did she do that caused more immigration to happen during Biden's presidency? Something that Trump, like, for example, if that didn't happen during Trump's presidency, what was it that he did that caused that to not happen?
Played tag with everybody coming through the gate.
What?
Go ahead.
Played tag?
You've got a court date 10 years from now. Go ahead.
Who did that?
Kamala and Biden for 4 years.
Well, that was the system that existed when they came into office. What I'm saying is that
it wasn't.
What did they do to change that system then?
They allowed anybody to come through those gates.
Right, but I'm asking you to explain to me, like, how that's the case. Like, what is your evidence for that claim? Because I'm trying to, you say that they, like, changed the system. Like, how? Like, what did they do? I happen to know the reason why there was an unusual amount of illegal immigration.
Okay, then you tell me.
Okay, so during the first half of the Biden administration, there was an unusually low amount of illegal immigration for a pretty obvious reason, which is that there wasn't very much movement happening on the planet at all due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And the COVID-19 pandemic caused some of the most harsh economic conditions we've seen the world over. Every country had its own shot at trying to deal with it. I can point out as an aside, we actually did a pretty good job under Biden, keeping up with the other developed nations on responding to it well and getting our economy back on track after the pandemic stopped being so serious an issue. But a lot of poorer countries weren't able to do that, and economic conditions were bad. People were desperate, so that increased the number of people who wanted to move to America. As is always historically the case, the thing that causes more people to want to move to America rarely has anything to do with what's going on in America. It has to do with what's going on elsewhere. And right after COVID, right after it became appropriate to try to move around the world again, economic conditions were terrible because of COVID. So there was a large flood of people who wanted to immigrate to the United States, and that increased the illegal immigration quite a lot. I bet we disagree about what the actual number is because it wasn't 20 million people, but it was millions more than is usual, I will concede. But I'm just saying that would have happened regardless of who was president.
I disagree with that 100%.
Okay, what's your evidence?
How many people have come across the border since Trump took office? for his second term.
Well, he claims 0, which doesn't seem right. It is very few, but I will say that that's not for a good reason, and you're sidestepping my point, because I do want to stick to this. We can talk about the reduced immigration under Trump next, but can we continue talking about something that you seemed very sure about, which is that Biden and Kamala let all these people in? What did they do? COVID happened, and then a lot of people wanted to immigrate to the United States, and then they happened to be president and vice president when that was happening. What did they do? What was the policy?
What I'm telling you they did was nothing. They just let it happen.
Okay, so they should have done something?
And the country was saying, what are you doing? And they did nothing until the very last 6 months of their term when it was time to shit or get off the pot for the fucking election.
Right. So the data started coming out towards the end of their term about this immigration, because during like the calendar year 2023, for example, we don't actually find out good immigration data until usually sometime into 2024. But again, you're just like if a different person was president, what should they have done? What is the policy they should have enacted?
Can't come in.
That's already the policy.
Then enforce it.
How?
The way that Trump's doing it.
By violating people's civil liberties and not obeying the Constitution?
I'm sorry, but closing borders is not a civil liberty.
You're sidestepping what I said.
I'm not sidestepping shit. You just don't like the answer that I'm giving.
No, I think you're the one that's struggling in this conversation. So I'll take us right back.
Take your fucking beanie and shove it up your fucking liberal ass.
You gonna run away now, or are you gonna keep talking?
No, I'm right here. I'm not fucking scared of you.
Okay, you're acting like you're a little bit scared of the conversation.
I'm not. I'm just so dumbfounded at how fucking blind you are.
So I didn't say that closing the border is violating people's civil liberties. What I actually said is that, like, as per a policy position, the border's already closed because you're supposed to use the legal system. What I said is that if we want to enforce the rule about you not being able to cross the border illegally, there are ways of doing that are legal and constitutional, and there are ways of doing that are illegal and unconstitutional.
Like leaving it wide open. That should be fucking totally illegal.
No, you're not tracking what I'm saying, dude.
No, I'm not, because you're saying nothing. You're saying nothing. You're saying fucking AI fucking talk points.
I don't use AI.
Yeah, sure.
I don't. But anyway, can you listen to the words that I'm saying and try to respond?
Fucking computer, you're not using AI.
I'm not. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, are we going to talk the points or not? Like, you seem to be evading what I'm trying to say, which is that if you have a goal here, I'll use an example that I use sometimes. Let's say that we thought that jaywalking is bad. Is jaywalking illegal?
In the books, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't happen to be where I live, but in a lot of places, jaywalking is illegal.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
I live in Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Okay.
That's exactly what I thought.
Anyway, so
your governor's a piece of shit.
So back to what we were talking about. If jaywalking is illegal, and we wanted to make sure that nobody jaywalks, and we thought, okay, how can we achieve this? I have a policy proposition, which is that
Just because you're from Minneapolis, that actually does make me want to leave this conversation. I don't want to have a conversation with a fucking idiot.
You're afraid to talk to somebody who knows the facts and policies? Hello? Oh, he left. Okay. Man, that was interesting. What a runner. Thought I was the track star. I guess I'll do a mid-roll because the conversation ended. If you made it to the end of the conversation on YouTube, thanks for listening to the whole thing. If you're still here on TikTok, get double tapping away on the screen. Follow me, share the live. If you are watching on either of those platforms, you can follow me in the other platforms, which you can find in my TikTok, in the link tree in my bio, because TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, those are the platforms where I'm trying to get more followers. So it doesn't cost you anything to follow me on those, and that helps me out in a totally material, important way. And if you want to support me in ways that aren't free, there are ways to do that in the link tree in the bio as well. Thank you for listening. That was fun. He knew he was cooked. Man, calling these people a track star is really disparaging to actual track stars. But I'm biased because I'm a runner. Yeah. Gas Marin, good to see you. I didn't notice when you joined. Oh, I love the baby bottle emojis. Yeah, he was looking for an excuse to get out of here, and I guess because I'm from Minneapolis, the things I'm saying are wrong. What a runner. There's got to be a lot of guys like that who just hop through different lives and they just spend time with the people who can't handle their bullshit. Because, like, yes or no, chat, was I capable of handling his bullshit? Did I handle his bullshit like effectively? Did I let that shit roll off my back? Did I do it right? He's looking for somebody who can't. He's looking for somebody who like isn't capable of having these conversations so that he can like get them to lose their temper when he tells me to shove my hat up my ass or whatever. I was actually hoping that my hat would offend some people. I'm wearing a different hat than I normally wear today. I'm wearing... Oh, Daniel B. Morgan, I saw that Diava invited you up. I'm going to remind you to not violate the TikTok terms of service. I am going to insist that you be a Trump supporter, and I'm going to ask first, how old are you? I invited you to unmute. There you go. How old are you?
I'm 65.
I believe you. Are you a Trump supporter?
Oh, yeah, from way back.
From way back. Okay, you mean like a long-time Trump supporter.
Yeah, a long time, like when he was doing that show in California. And,
okay, so you're like a pre-politics fan of the guy.
Oh, I like the guy what he was saying back in the day when he was talking about what Iran was doing and was getting into politics then, sort of.
Well, his commentary on Iran before he was a politician was interesting. He said that Obama would be a very weak president if he went to war with Iran because it would mean that he's not able to negotiate very well with them. And then Obama negotiated a deal with them that stopped them producing nuclear weapons. And then Trump threw that agreement away, and then in his next term after that went to war with them. So how would you said that you're a longtime fan of Donald Trump and you like his position on Iran, so I think that you should explain yourself given what I just said.
No, Obama was weak. That's why he gave them back all that money that he shipped over there in pallets of cash, right? To our enemies.
I just want you to
can I, when I'm speaking, can you please let me
No,
speak?
I'm actually going to interrupt you because you didn't respond to what I said. Because what I wanted you to respond
actually,
to...
I did. I did respond.
Specifically, I want you to respond to the thing that Trump said about how it would be weak of Obama.
So you're going to try to regulate what I say.
I am the moderator of this show that I run. So it's my show, and I am going to talk over you until you answer my question.
It's not valid. That doesn't work because
it doesn't have to be valid. It's my show. I could order you to do whatever I want.
There you go.
Can just leave if you don't like it.
Typical leftist. Anyway, let's go. What was you?
Okay. So what I wanted you to answer is that Trump said that Obama would be a weak president who can't negotiate if he went to war with Iran. I want to know how you feel about the fact that Trump then got rid of the deal that Obama had negotiated and went to war with Iran instead of negotiating a better one. Doesn't that mean that he's a weak president who's bad at negotiating? Because he couldn't, even if you think the Obama deal was bad, but Trump couldn't negotiate a better deal. So how do you answer to that?
Okay, real simple. I'll make this simple for you. Our policy should be we do not negotiate with terrorists. It's that simple.
Then why is he negotiating with them?
I said that should be our policy. I didn't say it was.
Right, but I am asking about Trump, and Trump is currently negotiating with the terrorists. He's constantly trying to negotiate to get the Strait of Hormuz open. He's asking for help from NATO. He's doing a lot of negotiations with these terrorists. So was that, what are you talking about? What's your point?
Well, at this point, negotiations should be implemented.
Oh, wait. So we have to go back. Should you or should you not negotiate?
Confuse the issue. You're going to try to confuse the issue.
No, I just want to be clear. Should we or should we not negotiate with terrorists?
If you would be quiet.
You said that we shouldn't negotiate with terrorists. Should we or should we not?
Quiet and quit talking over me. If you would be quiet, I can be clear. Instead of trying to, say this is what you're saying, and put your own spin on it.
Trying to keep me on one thing at a time.
Quit being a telemarketer. Quit trying to rebut me on every point, okay? It's real simple. We need negotiations at this point to save people's lives, to get our people out of there, and to finish this little operation up. This is not a war.
Okay, so we should negotiate with terrorists.
See, you're trying to sell it again.
Well, you said a moment ago. No, you said a moment ago.
Shit that you use, your script you're reading from.
It's not a script, dude. It's a unique conversation that I've never had before.
It's a script.
I've never spoken to you before.
It's on the computer in front of me. That's why.
Okay, you can make those accusations, but again, you just said a moment ago that we don't negotiate with terrorists, and then you went on to say that Trump.
Can I finish? Could you try to listen instead of trying to?
I want to know how you decide when we should negotiate. When do we negotiate with the terrorists, and when do we not negotiate with the terrorists? Please explain.
After we bomb the fuck out of them, then we negotiate them. If the negotiation doesn't work, then we finish bombing them and keep going until they not only negotiate, but they do exactly what we tell them to do.
Okay.
That simple.
Okay, so to go back to the thing we were talking about before that, which is that Trump said that if Obama did what you just described, which was start a war with them instead of negotiating with them, he'd be a weak president who can't negotiate. So I'm just trying to comprehend your ability to square these inconsistencies in what Trump says about Iran. Is it or is it not weak for a president to bomb them or instead of negotiating?
So your spin won't work because it's real simple. See, it's real simple. Any talking point that you come up with is simply to rebut and confuse what I'm saying. It's real simple. It was done in telemarketing forever.
It's not me who's being confusing. It's Trump. Trump is being inconsistent, and I'm pointing out those inconsistencies to you. And because you think that everything... Yes, he's very inconsistent.
When he said he was going to bomb the shit out of them, did he bomb the shit out of them?
He also said that he wasn't going to bomb the shit out of them. So that's inconsistent, yes.
When did he say that? I never heard that.
In the last month, he has said that
the talking point now is inconsistency.
Well, generally, yeah. I started by saying...
No, not generally. Let's be specific.
Okay.
It's your generality.
Okay, then let's go back to the first thing that you refused.
Confuse the situation.
Let's go back to the first thing that you...
This is how you work. This is how the left works.
I don't like using the mute button. That's like my whole thing on TikTok Live is that most people would have muted you by now. But
across TikTok, every one of you has the same way that you work your little lives.
It's called the truth.
You try to shut people.
So a moderator muted you on my behalf. I was gonna let him cook a little bit, but okay. So now that you're muted, I will just take you back. Was it inconsistent for Trump to say that it would be weak for Obama to bomb Iran and then for Trump to bomb Iran? You said that we don't negotiate with terrorists, but he said that Obama should negotiate a good deal with them instead of bombing them. I think that's inconsistent. I could go on. There were a number of other inconsistencies in his approach to Iran that were discussed in the last few minutes, but please respond to the fact that Trump is being very inconsistent about Iran. Now you're unmuted. Invited to unmute. You have to click the button.
Inconsistency. Mm-hmm. That's what the topic is. Can we stick with one instead of flip flopping back and forth?
I think inconsistency on Iran is the topic. I think that's where we're stuck. Yeah.
Okay. So is he being inconsistent? Is inconsistent now? Sorry about that.
He's being very inconsistent. He changes what he says about Iran on almost a daily basis.
Well, but his actions are pretty consistent.
No, they aren't.
His words may not be, but his actions are.
No, they aren't.
See, and it's just an argument with you. You would never give a point.
Well, I'll give you a point. So here's an example of his actions being inconsistent. He said that the United States was going to allow naval passage through the Strait of Hormuz with security from the United States military, and then just a week later closed the Strait of Hormuz himself to all traffic, not just the traffic that Iran was stopping from coming through, which is also really bad for the global oil market. So that's an inconsistency. He changed his approach to the Strait of Hormuz in a military sense in a week because it wasn't working. That's inconsistent.
More because he wanted to make sure it was safe, and that's necessary.
But he was saying but he's been saying that it's safe. But he's been saying that it's safe the whole time. Like he's been saying that
things change.
But he's saying
in a war, things change. Inconsistency is
the situation can develop. Yeah. If he had said that the Strait of
actually gave me a point.
If he said no, but if he had done that, you'd have been right. But that's not what happened. If he had said, "Oh, it's safe now," and "Oh, it's become not safe," and that's the situation progressing, that wouldn't be inconsistent. That would just be the situation changing. But what I'm saying is that he's giving inconsistent messaging on whether or not it's open, whether or not it's safe to travel, whether or not it will be open, whether or not he needs help from NATO opening it, whether or not it's open because we're closing it, whether or not we're supplying security to ships so that they can pass through. There's a ton of inconsistencies.
Simply, first of all, one of the first things to go in a war, this is of course not a war, it's a military action, but
why does he call it a war then? He's awfully inconsistent about that.
Same rules apply.
What rules? My point is that it doesn't seem like you have rules. He sometimes calls it a war and then sometimes says that it isn't a war. That's inconsistent.
Do you ever stay consistent in a line of reasoning, or do you just flip-flop all over the place?
I'm very consistently pointing out ways in which Trump is inconsistent about Iran.
Read from that computer, buddy. Your script sucks.
Do you think that I have, like, my hands are, like...
Look, the shit
do you think I have every possible conversation that could ever be had, like, in text on the screen, dude? Like, here, do I need to hold my hands up so you know I'm not, like typing or whatever? Like...
Typing.
Doesn't matter, dude. Like,
Typing.
even if I am reading a script, the script is decimating you. Do you have a counterclaim to any of what I'm saying?
The script is decimating me. Now, look, we got somewhere.
Yeah, if I'm reading a script, you know what? Yeah, hypothetically,
let's admitted to it.
Sure.
Not hypothetically.
Sure, I'm reading.
The way
I'm
your
reading off a
business
script.
works,
Sure.
You do the same thing as telemarketers. You read off what the moderators have sat there and got in a room, spent all the time to make sure they get the right words there. They get the right feeling.
Okay, so are you going to answer to the concerns about Trump being inconsistent on Iran? Oh no! I actually just asked him a question. I didn't mute you. My mod muted you, but I want you to answer the question. How do you feel about Trump being inconsistent on Iran? And if you don't think that he's being inconsistent on Iran, I would like for you to explain how, which you have not been doing. I've listed many examples of how he's inconsistent on Iran. Oh wait, he got muted for like a minute, so I'm just going to talk for a minute. Oh wait, no, he's back.
I'm on mute.
There we go.
So inconsistency in Iran, misinformation and disinformation in a situation like we have in Iran is important.
Okay, so just to be clear, you are now admitting that he's being inconsistent and just explaining why he's being inconsistent.
Oh, looky there, you got it right.
Okay, because that's not what you were arguing for most of the call. So you're saying that he's playing 4D chess and releasing the correct amount of information to confuse all of us in just the right way so that the war goes well.
4D chess, huh? Isn't that his term?
I'm trying to understand what your perspective is. I'm saying it seems that you think he's doing something smart by being inconsistent.
Absolutely. Why would I tell my enemy what I'm going to do, what I've done, or what I have planned for him?
Okay, I can recognize that, but I would also point out that it simply isn't being effective because the strait is still closed, gas is still very expensive, and we've lost favor with even more of our international allies for begging for help with this conflict, which, by the way, if we had not attacked Iran, NATO would have been forced to help us if Iran attacked us because of Article 5 of the NATO treaty, but because we started the conflict, we don't get that protection anymore, so we no longer have help with Iran, and he's upset about that. So, what exactly is the benefit of all this inconsistency when, best I can tell, the result of the inconsistency are exactly the sort of outcomes that he said he would avoid as president, like expensive gas.
Right. Well, then see, that's something we don't care about. It's not a matter of. Okay. Well,
something we don't care about.
Know what's going on.
Did you? What are you referring to when you say that's something we don't care about? What is that, and who is we?
The people I talk to, my friends and
okay. And what is it that you don't care about?
We're not worried about the price of gas for the simple reason that drill, baby, drill. Actually makes sure you have to buy gas from us.
The drilling policies that Biden put in place to make sure that we could keep up with manufacturing to survive a situation like this are helping us a lot right now. That's correct. I'm glad that you are so happy that Biden did that. Thank you for bringing that up. Now, gas prices affect the cost of literally everything. You understand that, right?
Well, in the petrodollar it would, right?
Sorry, say that again.
Since we have a petrol-based dollar, it would. The petrodollar.
Well, not just because the equities are linked, but because fuel, not just gasoline that we put in our cars, but fuel generally, oil and natural gas, are used for everything: heating buildings, generating electricity, the petroleum,
making plastic.
I was about to say, yeah.
Medicine. So absolutely.
So
they put it in medicine to make you sick. So. Right? Yeah, so we know that one. Anyway.
That's misinformation, so I'm going to slide right past that. But
is it disinformation or misinformation?
To say that they're intentionally...
There's a difference.
To say that they're intentionally putting plastics in medicines to make us sick is misinformation.
I said petroleum products.
Yeah.
Now, whether I'm right about it,
I want to keep us on track because I want to keep on this inconsistency issue because you
want to stay yourself on track so you can keep running your narrative off of your computer. It doesn't work, dude.
It's working great.
I ran a computer.
So we're going to talk about. Listen. So we're talking about fuel prices. So you understand that the inflation rate is going up a lot.
We're actually talking about disinformation and misinformation.
I was trying to sidestep that nonsense you said about medicine.
I know you were trying to sidestep it. That's what you guys do.
We can't even discuss it because TikTok will flag you for misinformation, so let's not. Can we go back to Iran and gas prices?
Well, of course TikTok will. I mean, aren't they a corporation?
I'm not responsible for that. Can we go back to talking about Iran and gas prices?
The things I say affect their monetary, right?
You take that up with them. Can we go back to talking about Iran and gas prices?
We are talking about it.
Okay, so back to Iran and gas prices. You recognize that fuel is used in the manufacturing of everything in some direct, or sometimes very indirect way. Now, did you
petroleum? Let's say petroleum. Let's be specific about that. Petroleum.
Sure, fuel is a petroleum product, so we can just say
absolutely.
Petroleum.
So you're going to sidestep everything. It's petroleum. Let's keep it at petroleum. Simple.
I'm saying that's the better of the two because it's inclusive of the other. I know what these words you're using mean. I don't think that you do.
Fuel?
Yes, fuel is a petroleum
over
product.
Petroleum?
Fuel is a petroleum product. Not all petroleum products are fuels.
So we have fuel in our medications.
We have petroleum products. No, we have petroleum products, but fuels are a type of petroleum product.
And Tupperware is made out of what? Fuel?
Petroleum products.
Absolutely. So I think we should stick with petroleum
That's
products.
fine. Yeah, petroleum products. I agree with you. I'm fine with that label. Anyway, so petroleum products are much more expensive. And because petroleum products are more expensive because of the war, inflation is going to go up a lot. It's expected to go up to at least 4% this year. That is in direct violation with one of Trump's main campaign promises, the reasons that people like you voted for him. I don't know how you feel about inflation, but did you believe Donald Trump when he said that he was going to get inflation under control?
Oh, absolutely. And the best way to do that is to crash the dollar, crash the corporation's dollar, the United States corporation.
Do you think that what he's doing in Iran is good for his goal of getting inflation under control? Because he is, as a matter of
absolutely,
fact.
Absolutely, because it opens up the customers who need that oil to buy it from us.
No, that's not the no. That is not the result of what he's doing. The global price goes up regardless of who's buying which oil. It's right. A matter of who's buying how much oil is what affects the global price.
Absolutely, you're right.
And inflation is going to skyrocket because of this. That's known. It's already happened.
The price is going to go up. I'll give you that.
Right. So true or false? Donald Trump promised his voters that he would get inflation under control.
Did he say exactly when?
Day one. He said it was going to be on day one, which was ludicrous, but he said it would be on day one of his presidency.
Well, see, there's a thing you got to understand. See, Trump sends messages to people that you probably can't understand, like the YMCA dance. Have you ever heard the YMCA?
No, you're sidestepping. You're sidestepping the point. I knew the answer to your question. He said he was going to do it by day one. He didn't. It's a year later. Inflation is bad. Inflation is
intentionally.
Bad.
He didn't do it day one.
Okay. So why did he intentionally betray his voters by not getting inflation under control on day one?
Okay. Now, see, I'm trying to tell you, and you won't listen.
Please tell me.
Trump speaks to the mainstream media at the same time that he speaks to his voter base. He does that with things like dancing to the YMCA.
Okay.
What do you think? Just let me finish this, please. I'm asking you, let me finish this. Try to follow my line of reasoning.
I'm trying.
Military comms, first of all.
Military comms, dancing, okay.
He's dancing to the YMCA. Why is he doing that?
The question was about gas prices and inflation.
Okay, now let's go back to what I'm saying. Don't try to take me off on the left or right here. Let's stay on the same trail.
Gas prices and inflation.
Why does he do the YMC dance?
Does it have anything to do with petroleum products or inflation? Because that is the topic we're discussing.
Well, no, it has to do with Gitmo. But see, you can't read it and you don't want it out there because people will steal it. The minute I say it, anybody that hears what I say will understand it, even you.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you one more time. He promised the public that he would... I'm going to ask...
No, YMCA is where it starts. I'll get to your question. YMCA where it starts. You don't think I will?
I'm losing you, buddy. You're losing the chat. You got to get to your point.
You're asking me, why did he betray his voters, right?
Yes. Why did he betray? He said he was going to get inflation under control on day one. He hasn't done that. It's been over a year,
right,
and he's currently making it worse.
Your perception is...
No, the inflation rate is bad. It's not my perception.
Whatever. Your perception
It's not whatever. I really push back on people saying whatever when I point out that what they said is false because the inflation rate is bad. It is worse. It goes against exactly what his specific campaign promises were. It's not whatever. It's not my opinion. It's the matter of fact. Inflation is bad, and he was wrong.
That's a fact. At this point, it's a fact.
Yes.
Once again, back to the YMCA. Why does he do the dance? Because the message you're getting and the message we're getting are two different messages simultaneously. simultaneously. The reason he does the dance is because the original YMCA was on Gitmo. It's a naval base. It was 1918. That's why he dances a little dance. That's why he's done it all
So
along.
he's honoring the troops
because
from
that's
Gitmo. Whatever. What does this have to do with what I'm asking you about?
The rest of the traitors are going to end up.
Dude, what is okay? So he is signaling to you through his dancing of the YMCA that his like opponents, who's going to get sent to Gitmo?
Well, let me ask you this: why don't you check my facts? In the early 1900s, I think it's 1918. Not sure exactly, but I think it's 1918. There was a little place called the YMCA.
Yeah. The song is about cruising for gay sex at the YMCA, to be clear. But
yes, I get it. And that kind of goes towards Obama, doesn't it, and Michelle? But we won't touch that one. We'll move on from there.
Okay. So once again, the question is, why did Trump promise to get inflation rates under control on day one and then not do that for over a year and then start a war in Iran where the rising cost of petroleum products because of the war are going to cause a massive increase in inflation of the likes we haven't seen since COVID? Why is that's the question? That's what we're talking about.
I answered that.
You did not answer that at all. Nope.
I didn't answer that?
Nope. You started talking about the YMCA.
Right, because the message you get is just what he wants you to keep doing, keep pushing that narrative, while we look the other way instead of following you.
He broke his promise to the public. Why did he do that? You said that the reason that he didn't get the inflation rates under control was intentional, which I don't think is the case. But I will say that if you were going to say that's intentional, then you're saying that he intentionally broke his promise. Why did he do that?
Okay, now try to follow along here, okay? Mm-hmm. Try to follow along.
Yeah.
What he said and did is because the fractal reserve system, which we use for the Rothschild Bank, right, for our banking system, the fractal reserve system must crash. It has to, because inflation goes up. That's why our dollar is worth what now? Used to buy a hamburger or a Coke and a gallon of gas. Now it's what? What would it cost for a hamburger, a gallon of gas, and a Coke? $20?
$20, yeah, something like that.
Right. So you can say that we've lost the value of our little paper dollar.
So what you're describing is what inflation is, and there's a healthy rate, and there's a healthy rate of it. There's a healthy rate of inflation, which is about.
No, there is not.
Yes, there is. It's about 2%.
No, there is not, because inflation on that level can be manipulated with worldwide markets and the stock exchange.
I'm not saying on any particular level. I'm saying on the current level. I'm saying that there's a particular rate of inflation that's expected and healthy for a growing economy, and our target in the United States right now is about 2%. That's what the Federal Reserve says. That's what the economists say. That's what the people who study this say.
That's why we don't listen to them.
Because they don't.
That's why we want them out of our government.
You want the people who.
That's why we want the fractal reserve system gone.
You want the people who understand the economy out of the government.
We want the people who are manipulating the economy, giving our money to other people, supporting their own businesses there so they can whitewash the money back into the United States, buy their big houses, their cars. Okay,
but it's not the people. Not the people doing that. The people who are doing that are in the government. You voted for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
The people I'm talking about understand the economy and are reporting data on it.
Right. They understand that it needs to keep going for them to make their money. Because if we crash the dollar and get rid of the petrodollar, go back to a gold standard, sort of like bricks.
I'm gonna keep snaking you back here. I got it. It's my job as host. Why did Trump violate his campaign promise to get? He was specifically referring to grocery prices, but we can infer that he meant to be talking about inflation generally. Why did he say he was going to get grocery prices under control on day one, and then, as you said, intentionally?
I thought it was petroleum. Petroleum, groceries. Which is it?
He said that he was going to get groceries under control. We were talking
about petroleum.
I'm answering.
What about the stock market?
I'm answering that question. Are you going to let me answer? You got to let me answer. Okay. The reason, what he said is he was going to get groceries under control. And what we've discussed in this call is that the cost of petroleum products, which include fuels, oil, gasoline, things like that, affect the price of everything, whether indirectly or directly, including grocery prices. So the reason that grocery prices are going to go up a lot this year, the inflation rate is expected to go up to about 4%, is because of the increase in petroleum products. And then why did you ask me that, dude? Like, if you understand that, why were you confused when I brought up grocery prices in a conversation about fuel and inflation?
Well, I wasn't confused.
Okay, so let me ask the question again. Why did Donald Trump disobey his promise to get grocery prices under control on day one, which is something that you said that he didn't do on purpose? Why did he on purpose violate his promise?
Misinformation and disinformation is important.
How does that answer my question?
Simply put, it gets you to talking stupid talking points while we get busy in the background taking out the Federal Reserve and I'm sorry, not the Federal Reserve System, changing the Federal Reserve System, getting rid of the fractal system, the fractal banking system.
Fractional. Fractional
Sure,
is the word.
I'll go for that. Fractional banking, whatever.
It's not whatever. You just had the word wrong, and I pointed it out on your nonsense thing that you're saying. Anyway, anything before you go, because this conversation isn't going anywhere. I just want to know, what news channels do you watch? Like, where do you get your information?
This conversation is going where it's exactly where I meant it to be, to the banking situation.
I just want to know where you get your news.
This was my goal. I hit my goal.
Where do you get your
information? I know how to telemarket too, bud. I ran an office called Bank Card Empire. You ever heard of that? Phoenix, Arizona? Why don't you look that up?
And anyway,
anyway. It's very important.
I'm not interested in your line of questioning. I want to know where you get your news.
Well, sure you're not, because you don't want to expose how you're just the new age telemarketers.
Okay, so where do you get your news?
It's that simple. It's that simple.
Where do you get your news?
Where do I get my news?
Mm-hmm.
Not from CNN, not from the TV, and surely not from the left.
Okay, where do you get your news from?
I research topics specifically through the computer, through history.
What kind of websites do you like to go to? Like if you Googled something about
I don't go to websites.
You don't go to websites, so the computer just has them stored on there and you don't have to go to the internet to find them?
Yeah, I go to the internet, but specific website. Okay, let's put it this way.
Well,
I don't go to specific.
Well, like for example, Google is a website.
Specific. Right, but I don't go to specific websites, websites like Google, especially Google.
But Google is a specific website. It's not a very good website. It's a website
Absolutely.
that shows
You're doing the telemarketer thing again, dude. Why don't you just try talking like a real person?
You're telling me that you use the internet.
Reading that shit off the computer.
You tell me.
I'm pissing off your moderator right now.
Wait, I have a moderator here. Hold on. Do you want me to get a blindfold?
Right, he's getting pissed off.
Wait. I'll do the rest of the conversation blindfolded. Okay? Can we do that?
Well, you got all your talking points set now.
Well, okay. All right. So you said that so I can't read the script on the screen. You said that you get your news from the internet, but not specific websites. I really want to understand what you mean by that.
You want to understand what?
I want to understand.
Exactly.
Well, okay.
I thought that was pretty clear.
Well, when you go to research something and you Google it, Google is a specific website.
I don't Google. I don't go to Google specifically. I don't go to Google.
Okay, so how do you use your computer, dude, if you don't use websites? Like, where do you go? I
didn't say I didn't use websites. I don't use Google.
Okay. What do you use? Where does your news come from is the question.
It comes from the information on my computer, which comes from websites. It depends.
Which websites?
I don't have a specific website, buddy.
Okay, you said not CNN?
No, I use the computer just as it's supposed to be used. I set up word strings. It returns the information based on those word strings. Sorry.
Are you talking about using a large language model? Or are you talking about ChatGPT?
Huh?
I'm trying to understand what you're talking about, dude. I want to know where you get your news because you are fascinating.
I'm fascinating. Thank you very much.
Not in a way you should be proud of. You're fascinating in like a lab specimen kind of way. I want to know what websites you go to. Is it Facebook? Insults, right? Are you scrolling on Facebook?
This is a typical telemarketer.
Do telemarketers typically insult you?
No, when they're losing, they do.
No, I think telemarketers have to work pretty hard not to insult you. I have to exercise a little bit of patience in talking to people
TikTok
like you.
Telemarketers. You mean you guys are telemarketing on TikTok, right? You're marketing
Hold on. If you needed to know what the inflation rate is, what would you do?
Well, first of all, I don't care what the inflation rate is. But I would probably
care what the inflation rate is.
I don't know. I would probably go to my computer, put in the word strings, and see what come up.
Do you want to do that together and then look at maybe some of the websites that we find?
No, not particularly. I got other things to do right now.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like you do.
You go straight to.
You're talking to me.
Go straight to Google.
What is the inflation rate? I'm going to Google that, and I just want to see how you feel about this Google search. What is the inflation rate?
Okay.
Okay, so I Googled what is the inflation rate. I don't like personally reading the AI thing that gets generated at the top. It does tell you what is probably the correct answer, but it's often wrong. So is this the sort of thing?
3.3, huh?
Well, yeah. So
666, 999, that Tesla shit going on.
I was
33. 33.
Okay, so I'm saying that
Satanists love that number, don't they?
All right. This isn't working. I shouldn't have assumed you're good at reading.
No, I'm pretty good at etymology too. I also speak 3 languages, buddy. So
cannot believe you know
I think
the word
I might be able to read.
That's remarkable to me. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before I let you go? Because this is going nowhere.
Oh, it's gone plenty of places, buddy. You just don't know it yet. See, disinformation and misinformation is really important, especially on TikTok.
All right. Goodbye.
And especially when it's recorded.
Yep, it is recorded.
Absolutely. FCC rules, right?
No.
Ask Mercy. Ask Bank Card. Ask Bank Card of America.
It's recorded because the conversation was entertaining,
FCC
so
rules,
it's going
buddy.
on YouTube.
It has...
Whew, okay. That was fun. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure to follow me and stuff. I don't know. What do I say? I'm sorry. I have brain damage from having that conversation, and it's hard for me to remember my mid-roll. You're supposed to go to the link tree in my bio and follow me on the other platforms, because it materially supports me if you give me followers on the other platforms, because I have some goals, and I get some features and some monetization capabilities unlocked. Really trying to get to 10,000 on Instagram. Very excited about that. But if you want to support me in material ways, you can also do that through some means that you can find in the link tree in the bio. That was, like, I know he was, like, trolling to a degree. Like, there's, like... I wish I could make the guests take it seriously, but there's like conversations like that one where it's like obvious that the guy's a nincompoop. He's not just a troll, but then when he gets to the point of just trolling, it's like, this just isn't fun. Like if the response is just a troll, I'm being thanked for ending that. You've made us all more stupid for having to hear that guest. Yeah, I may have spread some stupidity around by having him on. Andy just got the badge for listening for 100 minutes. I appreciate that. That's every old man in the South. Yeah, that guy was pretty set in his ways. I was here for the whole time that guest was up, and I asked this genuinely, what the blank just happened. Yeah, we had something of a discussion about Iran and gas prices. And then he said that like Trump dancing with the YMCA song is a psyop. Anyway, that was fun. That really wasn't very fun, actually. Anyway, bank card empire. I guess I'm a telemarketer. That's a very old-timey way to call somebody a grifter. Do kids even know what a telemarketer is? Because we just replaced all that with like chatbots, right? He thought he was accomplishing something by wasting your time. Yeah, I mean, if that's what he was going for, if he was just trying to mess with me, I mean, I definitely got some clips that'll perform well on Instagram. So I'll call that one a win, even if it wasn't the most politically productive conversation. It was good for the show, those types of calls. Let's see. I posted a clip this morning that has 88,000 views. That one is cruising. Anyway, the script accusation is fascinating. I think blindfolding myself was kind of a fun bit. How's everybody doing? It's 12:10. That's the last caller. I'm gonna hang out for a few minutes. I'm gonna talk to my buddies in the chat. But that's the last call for the day. Let me see if I have any donations to read. On Venmo, nothing new on there. Okay. And the other ones, no. Okay. Daniel B. Morgan. Fascinating. I like the one thing that really is frustrating is that I wish that guy would talk in good faith. Like, he clearly didn't care about anything. He didn't care what the inflation... After that whole conversation, he just didn't care what the inflation rate is. Nonsense. Is Daniel B. still in the chat? Oh, I guess he is. Oh, that was him talking about his bank card empire thing. How hilarious. Man, that guy was like... not as difficult to talk to as the Husband Cop 89, but like a very similar flavor of bad faith, where just like everything is like a misdirection of something that I didn't say or something else. Beefy Daniel, he had a nice voice. Good for the content if the guest has a nice voice. But that was interesting. I'm gonna call this one a day. I'm going to go do video editing and then practice music tonight, have some music plans. All he cared about was saying that what he wanted to say and trying to discredit you, everything you said. Yeah, like, ironically, the reason the script doesn't work is because the conversations go all over the place. So how could you possibly have a script? But then the caller is reading a script or just regurgitating some lines. And the reason it doesn't go well for them is because they're unprepared for a novel question about the thing that they rehearsed saying. So like once they run out of Fox News talking points, which I know that previous caller didn't want to say it out loud, but I think we all know what news he's watching. Like as soon as I get to a question they don't know the answer to, it's whatever, I don't care, that's fake news, that's made up, that's nothing. And it's like, no, you're talking to somebody who has a comprehensive understanding of these things, and you are frightened by the fact that you're not able to navigate into uncharted territory in the conversation because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I navigate these conversations with confidence. Every now and then we encounter something I'm not knowledgeable about, so I make a tab and then I research it in my own spare time, and then I come back even more powerful for having had the conversation. Debate bros do that all the time. It's so disingenuous. I don't know which thing that you were talking about, but Annie, I know you were friendly, so I believed. Oh yeah, you were talking about just trying to discredit everything I said instead of like actually. I mean, I had a guy hang up on me today because I'm from Minneapolis, and it's like, oh, I guess I can't say anything that's true because I'm from Minneapolis. Hamtaro. Man, do I not have the energy for a call with you. I'm ending the stream, buddy. Sorry. You're always entertaining, but it'll have to be another day because I'm signing off for now. Follow me on all the things. I will see you guys in the morning tomorrow because I'm trying to live stream every day. Thanks for hanging out.